New York, Harlem. Bumpy Johnson's daughter fell in love with the wrong man and ignored every warning her father gave her, until one mistake changed everything. This story proves that the streets of Harlem are dangerous for everyone, even if you carry the Ellsworth name. Subscribe now so you don't miss the next story. Here, we tell the legends of Harlem's criminal underworld. Grab a cup of tea. We're just getting started. 7:14. Harlem wakes in layers. First, the pipes, then the radiators, then the doors. Metal gates rise over storefronts. Brooms push yesterday toward the curb. A woman shakes a tablecloth from a third-floor window. A bus exhales at the corner. The city does not wake because morning arrives. It wakes because people can no longer afford to sleep. Inside a brownstone on West 138th Street, Ellsworth Johnson is already dressed. White shirt, dark trousers, suspenders straight, watch fastened around his wrist. Bumpy stands in the kitchen and cuts a grapefruit into 4 equal sections. Not 3, not 5, 4. The knife moves without correction. Some men measure their lives with money, some with territory. Bumpy measures his with alignment. Time isn't numbers, it's alignment. And this morning, something is out of place. There are 2 cups on the table, one for him, one for his daughter. The second cup is untouched. 7:26. Her name is Evelyn, 20 years old. Old enough to believe that every warning is an insult, young enough to mistake attention for loyalty. She enters the kitchen wearing yesterday's blouse beneath a new coat. The coat is red, too bright for the room, too expensive for the job she claims to have. Bumpy looks at the coat, then at her shoes. Dust along the heels. No rain outside, no dirt near the house. Some information introduces itself. Other information waits to see whether you are paying attention. Evelyn opens the refrigerator. "You're up early." Bumpy lifts his cup. "I'm always up early." She smiles without turning around. "That sounds exhausting." "It keeps other people from exhausting me." She takes out a bottle of milk, drinks directly from it. Her mother would correct her. Bumpy does not. There are moments when manners matter. There are moments when the reason behind the missing manners matters more. "What time did you come home?" Evelyn closes the refrigerator. "I don't know. You were wearing a watch." "I wasn't looking at it. That's what watches are for." She places the bottle on the counter harder than necessary. Not a slam. A warning before a slam. "Can I eat breakfast without being questioned?" Bumpy separates a grapefruit section with his spoon. "A question isn't a cage." "No," she turns. "But you know how to make it feel like one." The room becomes still, not silent. Still. Silence is empty. Stillness is waiting for someone to choose the next mistake. 7:31. Lillian Johnson enters wearing a pale robe. She sees the table, the untouched coffee, the red coat, the space between father and daughter. A wife does not need to hear the first shot to know a battle has started. "What are we discussing?" "Nothing," Evelyn says. Bumpy looks at his daughter. "Nothing came home after 2. Evelyn closes her eyes. "There it is." Lillian walks to the stove. "What?" "The report." Evelyn points toward Bumpy. Every morning with him feels like a report. Bumpy does not move. "Where were you?" "With friends." "Which friends?" "Mine." "That wasn't the question. It was my answer." Bumpy places the spoon beside the plate. Carefully. Anger throws objects. Authority puts them down. "I've seen the young men you've been with." Evelyn laughs once. There is no humor in it. "Of course you have." They stand outside Carrington's drugstore like the pavement belongs to them. People stand on sidewalks. They make older men step into the street. Maybe the older men should watch where they're going. Lillian turns from the stove. Evelyn. But Evelyn is looking only at her father now. A daughter does not always rebel against rules. Sometimes she rebels against the person who survived by making them. Bumpy speaks quietly. You will stop seeing them. The sentence is simple. That makes it heavier. Evelyn stares at him, then smiles. Not because she is amused, because disbelief sometimes wears the same face. You don't get to decide that. I just did. You decide things for men on corners. Her voice sharpens. For people who owe you money, for people who are afraid of you. She steps closer. I'm not one of them. Bumpy's eyes do not leave hers. No. A pause. You're the one person I never wanted to become one of them. 7:34. The sentence reaches her. That is why she strikes back harder. You want to tell me who I can be around? Evelyn gestures toward the walls, the house, the clothes, the guarded front door, the careful distance between their family and the rest of Harlem. Look at the life you live, Lillian says her name again, this time softer. It does not help, Evelyn continues. People lower their voices when you walk into a room. Bumpy says nothing. Cars wait outside for you. Nothing. Men disappear for a week and come back apologizing. Nothing. And now you're worried my friends are a bad influence? She gives a small shake of her head. You don't get to teach me what good company looks like. The words remain in the kitchen. Words spoken in anger rarely leave when the speaker does. They stay. They sit at the table. They eat what nobody else can finish. Evelyn grabs her handbag. Lillian steps toward her. Where are you going? Out. Without breakfast? I lost my appetite. Bumpy looks at the red coat once more. Who bought it? Evelyn stops at the doorway. She does not turn. I did. Then she leaves. The front door closes. Not violently. That would have been easier. It closes gently. Gentleness can be a sharper form of distance. 7:42. Lillian pours herself coffee. Bumpy remains at the table. The grapefruit is untouched now. You pushed too hard, she says. I asked where she was. You ordered her to stop living. I ordered her to stop standing next to danger. She doesn't see danger. That doesn't remove it. Lillian sits across from him. She is 20. Danger doesn't ask for identification. She is intelligent. So are men who walk onto thin ice. Lillian watches him. She has known him long enough to recognize the difference between fear and calculation. Today, he has both. You kept her away from your world, she says. That was the point. You sent her to good schools. Yes. You made sure nobody spoke business in front of her. Yes. You made her believe she had the right to choose her own life. Bumpy's jaw tightens slightly. Lillian leans forward. You cannot give a child freedom for 20 years and then take it back because you dislike one of her choices. I don't dislike them. What then? I recognize them. That answer changes the room. Lillian looks toward the front door. What have they done? Nothing serious yet. Then perhaps you should trust her. Bumpy looks at his watch. 7:42. A clean number. An unclean morning. Trust is not blindness. No, Lillian's voice stays calm. But neither is love. She reaches across the table, touches his hand. You can watch over her. Bumpy looks at her fingers. You can be there when she needs you. He raises his eyes. But you cannot live the lesson for her. Lillian stands. At the kitchen doorway, she stops. And you cannot punish every person who disappoints her. Bumpy looks back at the red coffee cup. Empty. Cold. She isn't disappointed yet. 8:18. Evelyn works 3 mornings a week at the Uptown Music Conservatory. Not because she needs the money, because Bumpy insisted that money received without effort makes the hand weak. The conservatory occupies the 2nd floor above a furniture store. Children learn scales in narrow rooms. Violins complain through thin walls. A piano repeats the same 6 notes until repetition begins to sound like discipline. Evelyn sits behind the reception desk. She sorts lesson cards, answers the telephone, smiles at parents. Here, nobody calls her Bumpy Johnson's daughter. Here, she is simply Evelyn. That is the life Bumpy built for her. A life where her surname opens no doors and attracts no knives. At 08:18, a gray Buick stops across the street. 4 young men inside, 1 woman in the front passenger seat. The driver is Leon Vance, 23, tall, smooth face, hair pressed flat with too much pomade. He dresses like a man who has seen wealth through a window and decided imitation is the same as ownership. He does not get out. He watches the conservatory entrance. The woman beside him, Marla Dane, lights a cigarette. She working? Leon keeps his eyes on the doorway. She always works Thursdays, Marla smiles. You know her schedule better than she does. Leon places one hand on the steering wheel. That's why she likes me. People often confuse being observed with being understood. It is a dangerous mistake, especially when the observer has a purpose. 8:46. Evelyn steps outside during her break. She sees the Buick. Her face changes. Not completely, only enough. Leon gets out carrying a paper bag. He crosses the street without checking traffic. Men who believe the world should stop for them rarely look both ways. I brought breakfast. I already ate. You're a terrible liar. She smiles. The smile is real. That is what makes the danger difficult. Bad men do not always arrive looking bad. Sometimes they arrive remembering your favorite pastry. Leon hands her the bag. Inside is an almond roll from a bakery 6 blocks away. The one she mentioned once. Only once. You remembered. I remember everything you say. Across the street, Marla watches through the windshield. The 2 men in the back laugh about something. One of them opens the door and spits onto the curb. An elderly woman steps around it. He does not apologize. Respect does not vanish all at once. First, it misses small appointments. 9:03. Leon leans against the conservatory wall. You coming tonight? I told my mother I would be home. You're 20. She knows that. Does your father? Evelyn's smile fades. Leon notices. Men like Leon survive by touching a bruise and calling the reaction honesty. He knows. Doesn't sound like it. He worries. Leon laughs softly. No. He takes the cigarette from behind his ear, but does not light it. Men like your father don't worry. Evelyn looks at him. What do you know about men like my father? Leon lowers his voice. Enough to know they call control protection. The words fit too closely beside the argument from breakfast. That is how manipulation works. It rarely builds a new wound. It finds one already open. Evelyn looks back toward the conservatory door. I can't stay long tonight. Leon smiles. An hour. 1. Of course. A promise made by a dishonest man is not a bridge. It is paint over open air. 9:41. Bumpy enters a tailor shop on Lenox Avenue. The front display holds 3 suits without heads. Inside, steam rises from an iron. Measuring tape hangs from brass hooks. Cloth samples form neat columns along the wall. This is not one of Bumpy's usual places. That is why he chooses it. Habits are useful until someone learns them. At the back of the shop, a man named Isaiah Cole is pinning a sleeve. 38. Narrow shoulders, plain face. The kind of face people forget while still looking at it. He once worked night security at a shipping yard. Before that, Pullman porter. Before that, nothing he discusses. Isaiah notices Bumpy in the mirror. He does not stop working. You need a suit? I need someone to notice what doesn't fit. Isaiah removes a pin from his mouth. The tailor beside him continues pressing a lapel. No introduction, no handshake. Some conversations are safer when they never officially begin. Isaiah asks, man or place? Woman. Isaiah glances at Bumpy through the mirror. Your wife. My daughter. That answer is different, even in Harlem, even to men who have heard everything. Isaiah places the jacket on a hanger. What do you need? Distance. For how long? Until I understand what she doesn't. Isaiah wipes chalk from his fingers. She know. No. Should she? No. The answer comes too quickly. Isaiah hears it, but does not question it. A man hired to observe should not become part of the picture. 947 Bumpy gives him 5 names. Leon Vance, Marla Dane, Ricky Tolliver, Cecil Rowe, Frankie Ames. Not a gang, not officially. No colors, no territory. No leader anyone admits to following. They call themselves the Laurel Club because they once drank behind a closed restaurant on Laurel Avenue. Men without achievements often name themselves after locations. It helps them pretend the ground remembers them. They carry? Isaiah asks. Sometimes. Drugs? Enough to feel important, not enough to become rich. What do they want? That's your job. Isaiah studies Bumpy. And if they touch her? Bumpy looks toward the iron. Steam lifts. Then disappears. Call me before you decide what touching means. Isaiah nods once. Bumpy places money inside a folded suit pattern. No envelope, no count. Trust does not mean there is no accounting. It means the accounting happened before the room. 1026. Isaiah begins with the Buick. Cars are easier to follow than people. People look behind themselves. Cars assume roads are loyal. The gray Buick stops beside a newspaper distributor. Leon goes inside. Ricky and Cecil remain near the curb. A delivery man rolls bundles toward the doorway. Ricky places his shoe on one bundle. The delivery man stops. Move your foot. Ricky looks down as though surprised to find it attached to him. What? That paper. Ricky smiles. You need it? It's my delivery. That wasn't my question. Cecil laughs. The delivery man reaches for the bundle. Ricky kicks it open. Newspapers slide into the gutter. Pages soak in dirty water. A senator's face folds beneath a tire. A baseball score disappears beneath mud. The delivery man looks toward Leon inside the building. Leon sees everything through the glass. He does nothing. Leadership is not always the hand that strikes. Sometimes it is the face that grants permission. Isaiah watches from inside a parked laundry truck. He writes nothing down. Paper can be found. Memory travels lighter. 11:08. The Buick moves west. They stop beside a luncheonette. Frankie enters through the side door. He returns carrying 2 bottles of whiskey wrapped in a kitchen towel. No money changes hands. The owner follows him outside. A small man, white apron, gray mustache. You said last week. Frankie places the bottles in the car. Then you remember. I can't keep doing this. Leon turns in the driver's seat. You think we enjoy asking? The owner's eyes drop. No. Good. Leon smiles. Then don't make it unpleasant. He drives away. The owner remains on the sidewalk. An unpaid bottle is not theft when fear signs the receipt. It is tribute, and tribute is how small men rehearse becoming tyrants. 12:17. At noon, Bumpy eats in a private dining room above a fish market. No music, no crowd, only a plate of baked cod and a glass of water. A man speaks to him about union dues. Bumpy listens, asks 3 questions, makes one decision, but part of his attention remains elsewhere. This is new. Bumpy does not divide attention. He assigns it. A distracted man loses details. A divided man loses himself. At 12:17, the telephone rings in the hallway. Once, stops, rings twice. Isaiah's signal. Nothing urgent, but movement confirmed. Bumpy does not rise. The man across from him keeps speaking. And they want another 12%. Bumpy cuts the fish. Give them 6. They won't accept 6. They will after they calculate 0. The man nods. Bumpy drinks water. His hand is steady. A father can be frightened. A ruler cannot look frightened. The difficulty begins when both men occupy the same chair. 13:42. Evelyn leaves the conservatory. Leon waits beneath the awning. No Buick now. He has borrowed a green Chevrolet convertible. Borrowed is the word he uses. The owner would use another. Evelyn stops. I have errands. So do I. What errands? Yours. He opens the passenger door. The gesture is polished. The car is not. A crack runs across the windshield. One rear mirror is missing. There is dried blood near the handbrake. Small amount. Old. Evelyn does not notice. Isaiah does. He sits inside a bus shelter holding a folded racing form. Good observation does not stare at faces. It studies what faces forget to hide. Evelyn gets into the car. Leon closes the door. They drive north. Isaiah waits 7 seconds, then follows in a yellow delivery van with a sign for kitchen cabinets. The van contains no cabinets. Appearances are contracts signed with the careless. 14:09. Leon takes Evelyn to Riverside Drive. Not a club, not a bar. A stretch of park above the river. They walk beneath bare trees. Wind lifts her hair. For 20 minutes, Leon is charming. He asks about music. He listens. He tells her he once wanted to play trumpet. He claims his father broke the instrument across a chair. The story changes slightly each time he tells it. Today the father was drunk. Last week the father was jealous. Next week there will be no father at all. Truth is difficult to maintain. Lies are difficult to remember. They sit on a bench. Leon gives her a silver bracelet. Thin. Simple. A small letter E attached to the chain. Evelyn looks at it. I can't take this. You can. My father, Leon's expression changes. Only for a moment. There it is. Not anger. Competition. He doesn't have to know. Evelyn looks toward the river. I don't like hiding things. Then don't call it hiding. What should I call it? Having something that belongs to you. The bracelet closes around her wrist. A gift is never only an object. Sometimes it is the first piece of a fence. 14:37. Across the road, Isaiah watches from behind a newspaper. He sees the bracelet. He sees Leon's hand remain on Evelyn's wrist a second too long. Not force. Not yet. But ownership often introduces itself as affection. Isaiah looks past them. Ricky and Cecil stand near the park entrance. They were not in the Chevrolet. They arrived separately. They pretend not to know Leon. Leon pretends not to see them. That matters. Bad company is one thing. Coordinated bad company is another. Isaiah lowers the newspaper. Ricky looks toward the bench, then toward the road. checking distance, checking witnesses, checking something. Isaiah follows Ricky's gaze. A dark sedan passes slowly. Government plates. The sedan continues. Ricky relaxes. Isaiah does not. Small criminals rarely watch for government cars, unless someone larger has taught them why. 1516. Leon drives Evelyn to a basement recreation hall on 145th Street. A hand-painted sign reads, "Private Members." The word members is spelled incorrectly. Inside, a record player leans on a crate. A pool table has no felt on one corner. Beer bottles stand beside church donation boxes stolen from somewhere else. Marla is seated on a radiator. She hugs Evelyn, too warmly. People who dislike you often compensate with enthusiasm. Look at you. Marla notices the bracelet immediately. Her eyes move to Leon. A private confirmation, then back to Evelyn. "It's beautiful," Evelyn smiles. "Leon gave it to me." "I know." The answer comes too quickly. Marla corrects herself. "I mean, I knew he was planning something." Evelyn does not react. Leon does. A tiny look, sharp. Marla looks away. Isaiah enters through the building next door and climbs an unfinished staircase. At the top, a maintenance passage runs above the basement ceiling. Old buildings keep secrets because walls are rarely as solid as they appear. He reaches a vent. Below, voices move through dust. 1529. Ricky throws dice against the floor. Cecil counts money. Frankie disassembles a stolen radio. Leon pours Evelyn a drink. She refuses. He pours one anyway. "Just hold it." I said no. "It's soda. It smells like rum." "Then don't smell it." The others laugh. Evelyn does not. Leon sees the change in her face. He places the glass down, immediately gentle again. "Relax. Nobody's making you do anything." A dangerous sentence, usually spoken after somebody has already tried. Marla changes the record. Music fills the basement. Leon reaches for Evelyn's hand. She allows it. Above them, Isaiah listens. No one mentions Bumpy. Not once. That is more suspicious than mentioning him too often. A group of Harlem troublemakers sitting with Bumpy Johnson's daughter should have said his name. Even as a joke, even as a warning, they do not. Silence is not always respect. Sometimes it is rehearsal. 1604. A young man enters the basement, not part of the group. 16, perhaps 17. Thin jacket, nervous eyes. He carries an envelope. Ricky stops throwing dice. The room changes. Leon does not release Evelyn's hand. The boy gives the envelope to Cecil. Cecil opens it. Inside are bills. Not many. He counts. "You're short. My brother gets paid Friday. Today is Tuesday." He said Friday. Cecil looks toward Leon. Leon smiles at Evelyn, still charming, still calm. "Give us a minute." Evelyn starts to stand. Leon keeps hold of her hand. "I meant him." The boy looks confused. Ricky closes the basement door. The music continues. Cecil steps toward the boy. "You made us wait." "My brother," Cecil strikes him in the stomach. One blow, precise enough to remove breath. The boy bends. Evelyn jerks her hand away from Leon. "What are you doing?" Nobody answers. Cecil takes the boy by the collar. Ricky searches his pockets, finds 32 cents, a comb, a photograph. He tears the photograph in half. The boy tries to reach for it. Cecil strikes him again. Evelyn stands. "Stop!" Her voice is stronger now. Leon rises slowly. He does not look at Cecil. He looks at Evelyn. "He owes money." "That doesn't mean you hit him." "No." Leon adjusts his cuff. "It means he shouldn't make promises." Evelyn stares at him. For the first time, the charm has nowhere to stand. 1607. Above the ceiling, Isaiah remains still. He could intervene. He does not. His task is Evelyn, not the boy. A man who watches evil and does nothing becomes part of it. A man who interrupts too early may lose the person he was sent to protect. Rules sound clean until they touch a human being. Below, the boy falls against the pool table. Evelyn steps between him and Cecil. Cecil laughs. Move. No. The room becomes quiet. Leon's face hardens. Not because Cecil threatened Evelyn, because Evelyn disobeyed the room. Leon takes Cecil by the shoulder. That's enough. Cecil looks at him. We're short. You're also boring her. The others laugh. Tension leaves in pieces. Cecil releases the boy. Leon takes the envelope, removes one bill, places it in the boy's shirt pocket. Bus fare. The boy looks at him, confused, humiliated. Leon opens the basement door. Friday. The boy leaves. Evelyn remains standing. Leon returns to her. You see? No. I stopped it. You started it. Leon's eyes narrow, only slightly. A blade does not need to leave its sheath to announce itself. 1613. Evelyn picks up her handbag. I'm going home. Leon blocks no door, raises no voice. He knows force used too early destroys the illusion. All right, she looks surprised. He smiles. I said nobody makes you do anything. Evelyn moves past him. At the stairs, Marla follows. Don't judge him over Cecil. Evelyn stops. He watched. Leon handles things differently. He let it happen. Marla lowers her voice. You have no idea what these boys deal with. Evelyn looks back into the basement. Cecil has already returned to the dice. Ricky tapes the torn photograph to the wall as a joke. Leon stands beneath the light, watching Evelyn, not ashamed, not apologetic, studying. Evelyn leaves. Marla remains at the stairwell. Her face changes after the door closes. Too much, she says. Leon picks up Evelyn's untouched drink. Not enough. Isaiah hears both words through the vent. 1618. Cecil laughs. She's going to run home. Leon drinks from Evelyn's glass. No. How do you know? Because she wants to prove she isn't scared of us. Ricky throws the dice. And her old man? Leon looks at him. The first time Bumpy has been mentioned. The room loses its humor. Leon speaks quietly. Her old man built a house with no windows. He turns the glass in his hand. She thinks I'm showing her the outside. Marla watches him. That why you picked her? Leon does not answer immediately. A delayed answer is often the honest part of a lie. I didn't pick anybody. Cecil grins. Sure. Leon places the glass on the pool table. What matters is she comes back. And if she doesn't? Leon looks toward the closed door. She will. Confidence can come from faith, or from a plan already moving. Isaiah slowly backs away from the vent. The wood beneath his foot creaks. Below, Ricky looks up. Music continues. Nobody speaks. Isaiah does not move. A ceiling is only protection, while nobody remembers to look at it. 1621. Ricky steps beneath the vent. Isaiah sees the top of his head through the metal slats. Cecil reaches toward the wall and turns off the record player. The needle scratches. Silence drops into the room, not the peaceful kind, the searching kind. Leon looks at the ceiling. Rats, Marla says. Ricky keeps looking. No rats that heavy. Isaiah controls his breathing. Fear is a clock. The body starts counting even when the mind says stop. 1 beat, 2, 3. Leon raises one hand. Ricky waits. Then Leon says, leave it. Ricky looks at him. You sure? Leon's gaze remains on the vent. No, a pause. But whoever it is just learned something. The record begins again. Isaiah does not move for 11 minutes. Sometimes escape is not running. It is becoming part of the dust. 1706. Evelyn walks alone along 145th Street. She is angry, at Leon, at Cecil, at herself. Most of all, at the small voice inside her that sounds like her father. She removes the silver bracelet, holds it in her palm, considers dropping it through a sewer grate, does not. Instead, she places it in her handbag. A decision postponed still travels with you. At the corner, the nervous boy from the basement waits near a payphone. His name is Thomas Pell. Evelyn does not know that. He looks at her. She slows. "Are you all right?" He touches his stomach. "Yes." "No, you're not." He looks over her shoulder. "They see you talking to me?" "They're not here." Thomas gives a frightened laugh. "They're always somewhere." Evelyn studies him. "What did you owe them for?" Thomas wipes his mouth. "My brother borrowed a car." "A car? He brought it back. Then why pay?" Thomas looks down the street. "Because it had something in the trunk when he borrowed it." Evelyn waits. "What?" Thomas does not answer. A city bus turns the corner. He steps backward. "Don't go back there." The bus stops. Doors open. Evelyn looks at him. "Why?" Thomas climbs aboard. Before the doors close, he says, "They don't like you." The bus pulls away. Evelyn remains at the curb. The sentence follows her farther than the bus. 1749. Bumpy returns home before sunset. Unusual. Lillian notices but does not mention it. He removes his coat, places his hat on the same hook, checks the hall table. No handbag, no red coat. Evelyn is not home. He enters the sitting room. A radio plays softly. Lillian is reading. "She called," Lillian says. "From where?" "She didn't say." "What did she say?" "That she'll be home for dinner." Bumpy checks his watch. "Dinner is at 6. She knows. So does lateness." Lillian closes the book. "You promised." "I promised nothing. You heard me. That isn't the same thing." She looks at him. "What have you done?" Bumpy removes his cufflinks. "One man is watching." Lillian's expression hardens. "You put someone behind her?" "I put someone behind what's behind her." "She will never forgive you." "She doesn't need to know." "That is not forgiveness." Bumpy places the cufflinks into a small dish. "No, it is deception." He looks toward the empty hallway. Deception keeps many people alive long enough to resent it. Lillian stands. "She is your daughter, not a shipment." The words land. Bumpy turns slowly. "I know exactly what she is." "Do you?" Her voice breaks only at the edge. "Because right now you are treating her like something that can be guarded, counted, and returned by 6. Bumpy's face remains still, but stillness can conceal impact. Lillian walks past him. At the doorway, she stops. "She needs a father." Bumpy looks toward the window. "She has one." "No." Lillian leaves the room. "She has Bumpy Johnson." 1803. The dining table is set for 3. 3 plates, 3 glasses, 3 folded napkins, only 2 chairs occupied. At 1803, Lillian begins eating. Bumpy does not. At 1811, the telephone rings. He answers. No greeting. Isaiah's voice is low. "She left them." "Alone?" "Yes." "Where now?" "Walking east." "Anything happen?" A pause. Too long. Bumpy notices. "What happened?" "One of the boys collected money from a kid." "That doesn't answer me." "Your daughter stepped between them." Bumpy looks toward the empty chair. "Did anyone touch her?" "No." "Did anyone threaten her?" "Not directly." "Directly is a luxury. What happened?" Isaiah looks from the telephone booth toward the street. Evelyn is 3 blocks ahead. She saw enough to leave. Bumpy's hand tightens around the receiver. Then why are you still calling? Because I heard them after. Bumpy waits. Isaiah says, they expect her to return. People expect many things. This wasn't hope. A bus passes between the booth and Evelyn. For 2 seconds, Isaiah cannot see her. When the bus clears, she is still there. But someone else is walking behind her now. Marla, half a block back. No cigarette, no smile. Bumpy asks, what was it? Isaiah watches Marla follow Evelyn into a crowded intersection. A plan. 1814. Bumpy says nothing. The line carries the city between them. Automobile horns. A distant whistle. Coins dropping into another telephone. Isaiah continues. They know who she is. That isn't difficult. They avoided your name until she left. Bumpy looks at the wall clock. 1814. 14 minutes past a promise. 14 minutes past alignment. What do they want? I don't know yet. Then no. Isaiah watches Marla stop outside a dress shop while Evelyn continues. A performance, a shadow pretending to become scenery. There's something else, Isaiah says. What? One of them looked for government plates. Bumpy's eyes narrow. When? Riverside. Did they see any? Yes. Were they followed? I don't think so. Thinking is what men do before facts embarrass them. Isaiah accepts the correction. Understood. Bumpy lowers his voice. Stay close. To her, to the reason they chose her. He hangs up. Lillian stands in the dining room doorway. She has heard enough to understand the shape, not the details. Is she safe? Bumpy looks at the empty chair. For now, Lillian closes her eyes. There are phrases that calm strangers. A wife knows when they mean the opposite. 1839. Evelyn enters the house, 39 minutes late. She hangs the red coat, places her handbag on the table. Bumpy sees that one clasp is open. She has searched inside it recently, perhaps for money, perhaps for the bracelet, perhaps to make sure it is still there. Lillian approaches. You're late. I know. Are you all right? Yes. The answer arrives too quickly. Bumpy remains near the fireplace. Evelyn notices him. Their eyes meet. What? Nothing. She laughs bitterly. That's new. Lillian touches her arm. Sit down. Eat. I'm not hungry. Bumpy speaks. You left the recreation hall early. Evelyn freezes. Only for an instant. But an instant is enough. Her face turns toward him. How do you know where I was? Bumpy does not answer. The room changes. Trust does not always break with a sound. Sometimes it changes temperature. You had me followed. Lillian looks at Bumpy. He says, I had them followed. Don't. Evelyn steps backward. Don't make it sound better. I needed to know. You needed control. I needed facts. About me. About them. You went behind my back. They were already behind yours. Evelyn stares at him. The line reaches somewhere she does not want touched. She takes the bracelet from her handbag, throws it onto the table. Silver strikes wood. A small sound, but small metal can ring like an accusation. You think everyone is using me because everyone uses you. Bumpy looks at the bracelet. Who gave you that? That's none of your business. Everything placed around my family becomes my business. There, Evelyn points at him. That, her voice rises. That is why I cannot breathe in this house. Lillian moves between them. Enough, but enough is not a word anger respects. 1843. Evelyn looks past her mother. You built my whole life so I wouldn't know what you do. Bumpy remains still. And now you expect me to obey rules you won't even explain. I explained enough. No, you issued an order. She steps closer. You don't trust me. I don't trust them. You don't know them. Bumpy looks at the bracelet. I know one of them watched a boy get beaten over money. Evelyn's face changes. How? I know another followed you after you left. She looks toward the front windows. Fear appears. Then pride pushes it down. Marla was probably going the same way. No, you don't know that. I do. You always do. The words come with tears now. Anger has reached the place it was protecting. You always know everything. She picks up the bracelet. Where I go. When I return. Who I speak to. She closes her fist around the silver chain. But you never ask why I went. Bumpy says nothing. For the first time that day, he has no efficient answer. Evelyn sees it. That hurts her more. She walks toward the stairs. Bumpy says her name. She stops. Do not go back to that basement. Evelyn turns halfway. Her face is wet. Her voice is not. You don't get to give me orders after spying on me. She climbs the stairs. Her bedroom door closes. This time, hard. The sound travels through the house. Lillian looks at Bumpy. He looks at the staircase. A father can win an argument and lose the person standing in front of him. Victory is not always alignment. Sometimes it is simply everything falling into the wrong place at once. 1922. In Evelyn's room, the bracelet lies on the dresser. She sits beside the telephone. The house is quiet. Downstairs, plates are being cleared. A door opens, closes. Water runs in the kitchen. She stares at the telephone. At 1922, it rings. Once, she does not answer. Twice, she picks up. Hello? Leon's voice, soft. You all right? How did you get this number? You gave it to Marla. I didn't. A pause, then a small laugh. She must have found it somewhere. Evelyn looks at her bedroom door. What do you want? To apologize. For what? For Cecil. You should apologize to that boy. I will. The lie is smooth. Smooth lies travel farther because nobody hears them scrape. Evelyn touches the bracelet. My father knows about the basement. Leon is silent, not surprised, calculating. What did you tell him? Nothing. Another pause, this one shorter. Good. Evelyn's hand stops. What does that mean? It means he'd misunderstand. He already does. Leon's voice warms again. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Evelyn closes her eyes. The words return to the wound. Always the wound. Come out tomorrow, he says. I don't know. No basement. Leon, somewhere public. I said I don't know. I heard you. A beat. That's why I'm asking nicely. The sentence is quiet. Too quiet. Evelyn looks at the receiver. Good night. She hangs up. Her hand remains on the telephone. For the first time, Leon's kindness has left a mark without touching her. 1928. Across town, Leon stands in a back room behind a closed shoe store. Marla sits on a crate. Cecil leans against the wall. Ricky counts telephone numbers written in a small notebook. Leon places the receiver down. She told him? Marla asks. He knows the location. Cecil curses. Leon looks at him. Cecil stops. What now? Ricky asks. Leon reaches into his pocket, removes a key, places it on the table. A storage key. Number 317 stamped into brass. Now we move faster. Marla looks uneasy. She almost walked today. She didn't. She might tomorrow. Leon turns toward her. Then tomorrow becomes tonight. Cecil smiles. What about Johnson? Leon studies the key. You don't fight a man like Bumpy Johnson. He closes his fist around it. You make him reach in the wrong direction. Marla looks toward the front door. And the girl? Leon's expression becomes calm. Too calm. She's the direction. 2006, Isaiah returns to the tailor shop after closing. The irons are cold. The mirrors are dark. Bumpy waits near the fitting platform. No coat, no hat, only the man. Isaiah closes the door behind him. They called her. Bumpy looks at him. You heard? No. Then how do you know? The recreation hall has one telephone. Isaiah removes a small notebook from his pocket. The number placed a call at 1922. Here? Yes. How? Your daughter's line is listed under her mother's middle name. Bumpy's face does not change. The listing was supposed to be private. It was. Isaiah places the notebook on the cutting table. Someone paid to make private become public. Information is rarely stolen from walls. It is purchased from men. Bumpy opens the notebook. One number is underlined. A municipal archive office. Another belongs to a vehicle registry. A third belongs to the conservatory. They have not only followed Evelyn, they have built her. Schedule, workplace, telephone, routes. Pieces of an ordinary life arranged by hands that do not live ordinarily. Bumpy turns one page. What is 317? Isaiah looks at him. A storage locker. Where? Bronx Freight Terminal. What's inside? I don't know. Bumpy closes the notebook. Isaiah watches him. Do you want me to look? Yes. Tonight? Bumpy checks his watch. 2006. No. Isaiah waits. Bumpy's answer surprises him. Why not? Because they expect movement tonight. You think they know I'm watching? They looked at the ceiling. Isaiah says nothing. Bumpy steps from the platform. They didn't find you. No. They didn't need to. He looks into one of the dark mirrors. A nervous man chases the first clue. Bumpy places the notebook into his inner pocket. A patient man asks why the clue was left where he could see it. 2117. Upstairs, Evelyn lies awake. The bracelet is back around her wrist. Not because she forgives Leon. Not because she trusts him. Because removing it felt like obeying her father. At 20, pride can make poison feel like medicine. She hears footsteps outside her bedroom. Bumpy stops near the door, does not knock. She watches the shadow beneath it. For several seconds, neither moves. Two people separated by one piece of wood, and everything neither can say. Bumpy almost raises his hand, almost knocks. Then the downstairs telephone rings. He walks away. Evelyn sits up. The telephone rings again. She hears her father answer. His voice is too low to understand. Then silence. Then the receiver returns to its cradle. A minute later, the front door closes. Evelyn goes to the window. Bumpy steps onto the sidewalk. Isaiah waits across the street. They exchange no greeting, no handshake. Isaiah says something. Bumpy looks toward the house, toward Evelyn's window. She moves back behind the curtain. Too late. He has seen her. For one moment, father and daughter remain connected through glass. Then Bumpy turns away. 2123. Isaiah hands him a photograph, taken less than an hour earlier. Grainy, poor light. Leon stands beside a freight terminal, Cecil beside him. Between them is Thomas Pell, the boy from the basement. His hands appear tied. Evelyn cannot see the photograph from the window. She sees only her father's face, the way it becomes empty, not shocked, not angry, cleared. When a room is cleared, something is about to be brought inside. What do they want with the boy? Bumpy asks. Isaiah points to the edge of the photograph. A woman's coat is visible near an open doorway. Red. Bumpy looks closer. Not Evelyn's coat. similar enough to suggest her, different enough to prove preparation. Isaiah says, "They staged this where I could see it." Bumpy studies the image. "They know you followed them." "Yes." "They know you report to me." "Probably." "They want me at the terminal." "That's how it looks." Bumpy turns the photograph over. Nothing written on the back, no message. No demand. A trap without an invitation is not ready. It is advertising. Isaiah asks, "What do we do?" Bumpy looks up at Evelyn's window. The curtain moves. Barely. "We do nothing." Isaiah waits. Bumpy places the photograph inside his coat. Tonight. 22:11. Leon returns to the basement recreation hall. Thomas Pell is not with him. Neither is Cecil. Marla sits alone beneath the hanging bulb. "You think he saw it?" Leon removes his jacket. "He saw what we gave him." "And if he doesn't come?" "He won't." Marla looks confused. "I thought that was the point." Leon smiles. "No." He opens the storage locker key in his palm. "The point is to learn how he thinks when his daughter is nearby." Marla lights a cigarette. Her hand shakes slightly. "You said this was about money." "Everything is about money." "No." She watches him. "This is about him." Leon's smile disappears. At last, something honest. "My father spent 12 years asking Bumpy Johnson for permission to breathe." Marla says nothing. Leon looks toward the basement stairs. "I'm not asking." He closes his fist around the key. Men who inherit humiliation often confuse revenge with ambition. The difference is simple. Ambition builds a future. Revenge rents one room in the past and never leaves. 22:48 Bumpy sits alone in the dark dining room. The table is clear now. Only Evelyn's unused glass remains. He rotates it slowly between his fingers. Lillian enters. She has changed into her nightdress. "Where did you go?" "To receive information." "About her?" "Yes." "Is she in danger?" Bumpy looks at the glass. The truthful answer would frighten her. The gentle answer would insult her. He chooses neither. "Not tonight." Lillian pulls out a chair. "What happens tomorrow?" "That depends on them." "No." She looks directly at him. "It depends on you." Bumpy raises his eyes. "She was right about one thing." Lillian waits. "I taught her nothing about my world." "That was intentional." "Yes." "Then why do you sound as though you regret it?" "Because ignorance kept her clean." He places the glass down. "But it also left her unable to recognize dirt." Lillian studies him. "What are you going to do?" Bumpy looks toward the staircase. "Give her time." Lillian almost smiles. "That sounds like a father." Bumpy checks his watch. 22:48. Then looks toward the front window. "No." His voice is quiet. "That sounds like a man waiting to see who gets impatient first." 23:36. Evelyn receives a note beneath her bedroom door. No footsteps, no knock, just paper sliding across the floor. She rises, opens it. 3 lines. "I'm sorry. Tomorrow, 7:30. Delaney's Cafe. Come alone. Leon." She looks into the hallway. Empty. She walks downstairs. The front door is locked. The chain remains fastened. She checks the kitchen entrance. Locked. Someone inside the house delivered the note. Or someone had placed it earlier. She returns upstairs. Reads it again. "Come alone." 3 words. An invitation. A challenge. A test. Evelyn folds the paper and hides it inside a book. She does not notice the faint smell on it. Machine oil. The same oil used on the freight terminal locks. 23:51 across Harlem. Clocks approach midnight. Bars count bottles. Restaurants count receipts. Police count empty streets and call them quiet. Bumpy stands inside Evelyn's empty conservatory. The owner has given him the key, not happily, but quickly. Bumpy examines the reception desk. Lesson cards, telephone directory, pencils, a vase with dead flowers. Isaiah waits near the door. "One card is missing," Bumpy says. "What card?" "Her work schedule." Isaiah looks at the rows. "How can you tell?" "The dust. One clean rectangle among gray ones. Absence has edges." Bumpy opens the bottom drawer. Inside is a photograph. Evelyn leaving the house. Taken 3 weeks earlier. Another. Evelyn entering the conservatory. Another. Evelyn sitting with Lillian at a department store cafe. Then one of Bumpy, standing alone outside a bank. Isaiah looks over his shoulder. They've been watching longer than we thought. Bumpy reaches the final photograph. It shows Evelyn asleep in her bedroom, taken through the window, from inside the house across the street. Bumpy does not blink, does not speak, does not move. Silence here is not the absence of sound. It is a command. Isaiah looks at him. "Do we take her away?" Bumpy places the photographs back in exact order. "No. They're inside her life." "I know. Then why leave her where they can reach her?" Bumpy closes the drawer. "Because they already believe they can." He switches off the desk lamp. Darkness fills the conservatory. A piano string vibrates somewhere in the building. One low note. No hand touched it. Bumpy walks toward the door. Isaiah follows. "What happens tomorrow?" Bumpy checks his watch. 23:51. 9 minutes before the day ends. 9 minutes before every plan has to survive becoming real. "Tomorrow," Bumpy says, "we find out whether they approached my daughter to reach me." He opens the door. Cold air enters. "Or whether they approached me to hide what they intend to do to her." The door closes. The piano string stops vibrating. And somewhere in Harlem, Leon Vance is still awake, waiting for morning, believing he has placed Bumpy Johnson inside a trap. He has not yet understood the difference between attracting a man's attention and becoming the only thing that attention can see. Chapter 2. 6:38. Morning arrives before anyone in the Johnson house is ready for it. The kitchen is empty. No grapefruit. No coffee poured for Evelyn. No conversation waiting to become an argument. Bumpy stands beside the stove while water heats in a narrow metal pot. He does not turn on the overhead light. Darkness keeps a room honest. It removes decoration, leaves only shape, door, window, table, stairs, the places a person can enter, the places a person can leave. Upstairs, Evelyn sleeps, or pretends to. Bumpy knows the difference. A sleeping house breathes together. This one does not. Time isn't numbers, it's alignment, and nothing beneath this roof is aligned. 6:51. Lillian enters the kitchen. She is already dressed. Gray skirt, cream blouse, hair pinned tightly. She sees Bumpy beside the stove. "You didn't sleep." "I closed my eyes." "That wasn't what I said." Bumpy pours hot water over coffee grounds. The smell fills the room. Warm. Ordinary. A house often protects itself with ordinary things. Coffee, curtains, clean dishes, the illusion that danger needs permission to cross a threshold. Lillian sits. "Did you find out what they want?" "Not yet." "Then send her away." "No." Lillian looks at him. "To my sister in Philadelphia." "No." "For a week." "No." "Why?" Bumpy places the pot down. "Because if I move her now, they will know I'm afraid. She is not part of your reputation. She became part of it the moment they learned her name." Lillian's voice hardens. "You made that name dangerous." Bumpy looks toward the ceiling, toward Evelyn's room. "Yes." No defense, no excuse, just the answer. Truth spoken plainly can sound more violent than denial. Lillian lowers her voice. Then protect her. I am. No, she leans forward. You are studying the people around her. That is protection. That is preparation. Bumpy says nothing. Lillian sees it, the part of him already moving ahead, not toward safety, toward consequence. You cannot turn this into business. Bumpy picks up his cup. They already did. 7:12. Evelyn wakes before her alarm. The note remains hidden inside the book beside her bed. Tomorrow, 7:30. Delaney's Cafe. Come alone. The words look different in daylight. At night, they felt secret. In the morning, they feel foolish. She removes the note, reads it once, then tears it into 4 pieces. Not because she has decided not to go, because people destroy evidence when they still intend to commit the act. She dresses quietly, dark skirt, white blouse. The red coat remains hanging on the wardrobe door. She chooses a brown one instead. Small rebellion, small caution. The silver bracelet remains on her wrist. She covers it with her sleeve. A hidden object still carries weight. 7:29. Evelyn comes downstairs. Bumpy is seated at the table. Lillian stands near the sink. Nobody mentions yesterday. Silence has many uses. It can forgive. It can punish. It can wait. Evelyn takes a piece of toast. I'm leaving early. For work? Lillian asks. Yes. Bumpy looks at the clock. The conservatory does not open for another hour. Evelyn feels him notice. She does not look at him. Mrs. Calloway asked me to organize the spring recital cards. Bumpy lifts his coffee. She asked yesterday? Yes. The lie is clean, prepared. But preparation does not make a lie true. It only makes disappointment arrive more quietly. Bumpy nods. Take an umbrella. Evelyn looks toward the window. The sky is clear. It isn't raining. It might. She waits for more. An accusation, an order, a reminder that he knows. None comes. Bumpy looks at the newspaper. The absence of resistance unsettles her more than resistance would have. She leaves. The door closes. Lillian looks at Bumpy. You're letting her go? No. He folds the newspaper. I'm letting her choose. 7:33. Evelyn walks toward Lenox Avenue. She does not see Isaiah. That is the first rule of his work. If the person notices protection, protection becomes a wall. Walls invite escape. Isaiah stands inside a bakery doorway, holding an empty bread sack. He watches her reflection in the glass of a parked car. Not her face. Her direction. She passes the turn for the conservatory, continues north. Isaiah checks his watch. 7:33. He does not follow immediately. A second man does. Frankie Ames. 20 paces back. Hat low. Hands in pockets. Frankie is not skilled. He is only certain nobody is watching him. Certainty is the loudest form of carelessness. Isaiah crosses the street. Now 3 people move in one direction. Evelyn, Frankie, Isaiah. A line. 3 intentions. Only one of them knows all 3 exist. 7:41. Delaney's Cafe sits between a pawn shop and a stationery store. 6 tables. Long counter. Fogged windows. Coffee strong enough to make the spoon stand straight. Leon waits in the back booth. No Cecil. No Ricky. No Marla. He wears a navy suit and a narrow tie. Respectable clothes. Respectability is often rented by the hour. Evelyn enters. Leon stands. You came. I have 20 minutes. You said an hour yesterday. That was yesterday. Leon smiles. Fair. He pulls out the seat. She sits. He orders coffee for her without asking. Another small decision made on her behalf. She notices this time. I don't want coffee. Leon looks at the waitress. Tea. Evelyn says, I don't want tea either. Leon keeps his eyes on the waitress. Water. The waitress leaves. Evelyn looks at him. You could ask. Leon smiles. I just did. No, you changed the answer. A pause. Then Leon leans back. Something has shifted. Not much, but enough. People reveal themselves when small obedience disappears. 7:46. Leon folds his hands on the table. I wanted to apologize. For Cecil? For everything. That's a large apology. I can afford it. Can you? His smile weakens. Evelyn sees it, only slightly. The first crack in the glass. Leon looks toward the counter. Cecil gets carried away. You let him. I stopped him. After he hit that boy twice. Leon lowers his voice. You don't understand how things work. Evelyn almost laughs. That is what everyone keeps telling me. Because it's true. No, she looks directly at him. It means none of you want to explain yourselves. Leon drums one finger against the table. Once, twice, stops. Thomas's brother lost something. What? Not your concern. You invited me here. To apologize. Then apologize. Leon watches her. He has spent weeks believing she was easy to guide. A sheltered girl. A famous man's daughter trying to prove she was ordinary. But ordinary people ask dangerous questions when they finally stop trying to be polite. Leon says, I'm sorry you had to see it. Evelyn's eyes narrow. That's not the same as being sorry it happened. No. He smiles again. It's the only apology you're getting. 7:52. Across the street, Isaiah watches through the stationery store window. Frankie waits beside the pawn shop. Another man arrives, not part of Leon's group. Older, 45 perhaps. Gray overcoat, dark gloves. He stands beneath the awning without entering any store. Isaiah has never seen him before. The man looks at the cafe, then at Frankie. Frankie gives a small nod. Not friendship, confirmation. The older man walks away. Isaiah remembers the coat, the shoes, the slight limp in the right leg. Faces can change. Movement rarely does. Inside the cafe, Leon reaches beneath the table. He takes out a small black case, places it between them. Evelyn looks at it. What is that? A favor. I don't want it. You haven't opened it. I don't need to. Leon pushes the case toward her. She does not touch it. A favor for who? For me. Then do it yourself. Leon's eyes cool. Not enough to frighten a stranger. Enough to warn someone who has been watching carefully. It needs to go into your father's house. The cafe continues around them. Cups, spoons, a child crying near the door. But their booth leaves the room. Becomes its own place. A narrow place. No windows. 7:55. Evelyn stares at the case. What is inside? Nothing dangerous. That wasn't my question. Leon leans closer. You said you wanted me to be honest. I said I wanted you to apologize. Honesty costs more. She stands. Leon places his hand over the case. Not over her hand. Not yet. Sit down. No. His voice remains low. You're making this dramatic. You asked me to carry something into my father's house. It's a key. To what? A locker. Why can't you carry it? Leon looks at her. The smile returns, but now she sees the work behind it. The muscles, the calculation, the effort. Because your father's men search me. They should. The answer lands harder than she intended. Leon's jaw moves. Once. Evelyn steps away from the booth. You used me. No. You knew who I was before you met me. Everybody knows who you are. But you studied me. Leon says nothing. Silence confesses what pride refuses. Evelyn looks toward the door. Frankie is visible through the glass, pretending to read a newspaper upside down. Her stomach tightens. You followed me. Leon does not turn. I protected you. The same word, protection, used by her father, now used by Leon. But one word can hold two opposite meanings. A lock protects what is inside. A cage uses the same metal. 7:58 Evelyn leaves the cafe. Frankie moves away from the window. Too late. She has seen him. Isaiah crosses the street before Frankie can follow. He bumps into Frankie's shoulder, drops the bread sack, apologizes, creates 3 seconds of confusion. 3 seconds are enough for Evelyn to reach the corner, enough for her to vanish behind a bus, enough for Isaiah to choose the next move. Frankie looks at him. You blind? Isaiah bends to pick up the sack. Only in one eye. Frankie studies him. What happened? Marriage. A joke. Ordinary. Forgettable. Frankie laughs and continues. Isaiah remains bent over until Frankie passes. Then he looks toward the cafe. Leon stands at the window, watching. Not Evelyn. Isaiah. Their eyes meet across the street. Only for half a second. But half a second can finish an introduction. 8:17. Evelyn reaches the conservatory. She enters through the side door, locks it behind her. Her hands shake. She hates that they shake. Fear is an insult when pride believes it is in charge. She removes the bracelet, places it inside the reception drawer, then takes it out again. She does not know what she is protecting. The bracelet, her decision, her ability to pretend she chose any of this. She walks into the largest practice room. A piano waits near the wall. She sits, presses one key, middle C. The note is clean. She presses it again. Same key, same note. The piano does not care who touches it. It answers according to pressure. People are more complicated. They answer according to memory. Evelyn places both hands on the keys. She knows the piece, has known it since she was 14. But today, the notes refuse alignment. Her left hand moves too quickly. Her right arrives late. Music collapses between them. She stops, looks at her wrist. The silver bracelet catches the morning light. A beautiful thing. A cheap chain. A small handcuff. 8:32. Bumpy sits in the rear room of a shoe repair shop. The shop is closed to customers. Leather soles hang from nails. The smell of glue and polish makes the air heavy. Isaiah enters through the back door. Bumpy does not ask whether Evelyn is safe. He looks at Isaiah's empty hands. What did he give her? She refused it. What was it? A black case. He said a key. Bumpy looks at the workbench. Storage locker. Probably. 317? That's what I think. Bumpy looks up. You think too much today. Isaiah accepts the correction. He wanted her to carry it into your house. Bumpy says nothing. Isaiah continues. There was another man outside. Describe him. Gray coat, black gloves, right leg limp, mid-40s. Bumpy's eyes change. Slightly. Recognition without comfort. You know him? Isaiah asks. No. Then what? I know the limp. Isaiah waits. Bumpy stands. There was a collection agent 12 years ago. Worked near the river warehouses. For who? Men who didn't want their names carried indoors. Same man? Maybe. Bumpy puts on his coat. What happened to him? He disappeared after a customs clerk disappeared. Isaiah watches him. And now he's with Leon? No. Bumpy fastens one button. Leon is with him. That changes the shape. The young men are not the plan. They are the wrapping. And wrapping is only useful because people look at it before the blade. 9:06, Mrs. Calloway arrives at the conservatory. 62, silver hair, small glasses. No patience for lateness or self-pity. She hears Evelyn playing the same bar repeatedly, wrong each time. Mrs. Calloway enters the room. "You're punishing the piano." Evelyn removes her hands. "I'm practicing." "No." Mrs. Calloway sits beside her. "You practice to improve." She looks at the keys. "You are repeating a mistake because it is familiar." Evelyn says nothing. Adults sometimes speak about music because life is too impolite to name directly. Mrs. Calloway notices the bracelet. "New?" Evelyn covers it. "No." "Then why are you hiding it?" "I'm not." Mrs. Calloway looks at her. A teacher does not need authority to detect a lie, only repetition. Play from the beginning. Evelyn inhales, starts. The first measure is clean, the second, the third. Then a car horn sounds outside. Evelyn flinches. Wrong note. Mrs. Calloway stops her. "What are you afraid is waiting outside?" Evelyn looks toward the window. "Nothing." Mrs. Calloway closes the piano lid. Nothing rarely makes that much noise. 9:38. Leon returns to the basement. Cecil is asleep on the pool table. Ricky reads a racing sheet. Marla sits near the radiator. The older man in the gray coat stands in the center of the room. His name is Victor Salerno, not Italian royalty, not a boss. Something more useful. A man who removes distance between powerful people and ugly work. Leon enters. Victor looks at the empty black case in Leon's hand. "She refused." Leon places it on the table. "She got nervous." Victor's voice is dry. "Nervous people are useful." "She's not ready." Victor looks at him. "Ready?" A pause. "You think this is courtship?" Leon says nothing. Victor picks up the case, opens it. Inside is a brass key, 317. He closes it again. "You were given one task. I got close to her. You were supposed to get close enough. I did. Then the key would be inside Johnson's house." Leon's face tightens. Cecil wakes. No one moves. Victor steps closer. "Do you know why your father failed?" Leon's eyes harden. "Don't talk about him." "He mistook proximity for power." Victor adjusts his glove. "He stood near important men and believed their shadow belonged to him." Leon stares. Victor places the case against Leon's chest. "You are making the same mistake with the girl." Leon takes it. Victor turns toward the stairs. "Tonight," Leon asks. "What happens tonight?" Victor stops. "We stop asking her." 10:11. Bumpy visits a municipal records building on Center Street. Not Harlem, not his territory. The corridors are bright, floors polished. Clerks move paper from one desk to another and call it order. A young administrator leads Bumpy into an archive room. Rows of filing cabinets, metal drawers, labels typed in black ink, cheap paper, expensive consequences. The administrator closes the door. "You said the vehicle registry and storage permits. For which terminal?" Bumpy gives him the address. The administrator removes a ring of keys. "You have a locker number?" 317. He unlocks a drawer, finds the terminal records. Pages turn. No urgency. Bumpy does not hurry him. Men make mistakes when rushed. They reveal loyalties when allowed to take their time. The administrator stops. Locker 317 is registered to a sanitation contractor. Bumpy looks at him. Name, Northborough Waste and Drainage. The words remain in the archive room. Sanitation, waste, drainage, not glamorous. That makes it useful. The city hides many things beneath clean names. Bumpy asks, "Owner?" The administrator checks another sheet. Company is held through 2 other companies. Directors? 3 names. He reads them, none familiar. Then a fourth, a silent partner, Victor Salerno. Bumpy's face does not change. The administrator continues. Renewed 5 months ago. How often accessed? That isn't recorded here. Then where? At the terminal. The administrator closes the file. You planning to visit? Bumpy looks at the cabinet. No. He places money beneath the folder. I'm planning to let them think I won't. 10:54, Evelyn receives flowers at the conservatory. White carnations. No card. Mrs. Calloway places them on the desk. Admirer? Evelyn does not touch them. I don't know. One stem is broken, another has no petals. The bouquet is tied with black thread. Not ribbon. Thread. Evelyn notices a small piece of metal hidden among the stems. She pulls it free. A key. Brass. 317. Her breath stops. Mrs. Calloway watches. What is it? Nothing. The word is becoming a habit. Habits build rooms inside people. Soon they live there. Evelyn closes her hand around the key. Can I leave early today? Mrs. Calloway looks at the flowers, then at Evelyn. Yes. No questions. Sometimes kindness is knowing when a person has no room left for explanation. Evelyn takes her handbag. The flowers remain on the desk. White carnations. A funeral color pretending to be romance. 11:07, Isaiah sees Evelyn leave. Too early, too fast. He follows from the opposite side of the street. She enters a drugstore, uses the payphone near the rear shelves. Isaiah cannot hear the call. He watches her shoulders, tense at first, then still, then lower. Whoever answers gives her relief, or instructions that sound like relief. She speaks for less than a minute, leaves, walks west. Isaiah enters the drugstore, places a coin on the counter. Telephone working? The clerk shrugs. She just used it. Isaiah picks up the receiver, asks the operator for the last number dialed. The operator refuses. He gives her a name, not his, a department, not real. She hesitates. Rules are strong until confidence knocks. The number belongs to Lillian Johnson's sister in Philadelphia. Isaiah hangs up. Evelyn did not call Leon. She called family. That should be good news. But good news is often only bad news that has not finished speaking. Issue 1122. Evelyn enters a travel agency near 7th Avenue. She asks about the afternoon train to Philadelphia. The agent gives her times: 12:40, 14:15, 16:05. She asks the price, looks inside her handbag. Not enough cash. She removes the silver bracelet. The agent looks at it. We don't take jewelry. I know. Evelyn places it back. The key remains in her other hand. She has not told her mother, has not told Bumpy. Leaving without explanation feels cruel. Staying feels dangerous. A person caught between fear and pride often chooses delay. Delay feels neutral. It is not. Delay always serves whoever is already moving. Evelyn takes the timetable. Leaves. Across the street, Isaiah watches. Behind him, Marla watches too. Neither notices the other at first. Then Marla turns. Their eyes meet. This time, no half-second. No accident. Recognition settles. Marla walks away. Isaiah does not follow. He watches Evelyn. The job remains the job, even when the enemy learns your face. She 11:49. Marla enters the basement through the rear door. Leon is alone. She closes it. There's a man. What man? The one from yesterday. Leon looks up. What about him? He's following her. We knew that. He saw me. Leon stands. Did he follow you? No. How do you know? Because I looked. Leon crosses the room. That's not how you know. Marla takes a step back. He stayed with her. Leon stops. That answer matters. A watcher forced to choose reveals priority. Victor wanted to know Bumpy's response. Now Leon knows the daughter matters more than the trap, or appears to. Leon smiles. Marla sees it. What? He won't leave her. That's good. It means we don't have to find him. Leon picks up his coat. We move her. Marla's face changes. You said nobody gets hurt. Leon puts on the coat. I said she gets scared. That's not the same thing. No. He checks his watch. It's more reliable. 12:06. Bumpy returns home. Lillian is standing in the sitting room with the telephone in her hand. She called my sister. Bumpy stops. When? Less than an hour ago. What did she say? She asked whether she could stay for a few days. What did your sister say? Yes. Bumpy looks toward the stairs. She coming home first? She didn't say. Lillian puts down the receiver. You frightened her. No. She is trying to leave. Someone else frightened her. And what is the difference to her? Bumpy does not answer. Lillian steps closer. She does not know who is protecting her and who is controlling her. She will. When? When the difference becomes visible. Lillian's eyes fill with anger. You are waiting for something to happen. I am waiting for them to show me the full shape. That shape is my daughter. Bumpy looks at her. No. His voice is colder now. She is what they placed in front of it. Lillian turns away. At the window, a sanitation truck passes. Green body, white lettering. Northborough Waste and Drainage. Bumpy sees it. The same company from the archive. The truck moves slowly. Too slowly. No collection scheduled on the block. The driver looks toward the house. Then away. Bumpy steps closer to the curtain. The truck continues. A message. Not written. Driven. 12:13. Bumpy calls Isaiah. She has a key, Isaiah says. How? Flowers. Where is she? Walking south. She looked at train schedules. Is Marla nearby? She was. Was? She saw me. Bumpy looks through the curtain at the disappearing truck. They know you stayed with Evelyn. Yes. They expected that. Isaiah says nothing. Bumpy continues. Do not take her home. Then where? Let her choose. She may choose the terminal. I know. And if she does, Bumpy watches the truck turn the corner. Then you do not enter. Isaiah's voice tightens. She'll be alone. No. Bumpy steps back from the window. They want you close enough to be seen. What do you want me to do? Stay far enough to see who believes you are gone. A pause. Isaiah understands. The watcher is now bait, not Evelyn, not yet. 12:47. Evelyn enters a small diner, orders nothing, sits near the window. The brass key rests beneath her palm. She looks at the number, 317. A meaningless number yesterday, a demand today. She considers calling Leon, considers calling her mother, considers walking into a police station. The last thought dies quickly, not because she trusts Leon, because she knows what her father would say. Police ask questions in rooms where answers become public. Her whole life has been built to remain private. The waitress approaches. You ordering? Coffee. Cream? No. The coffee arrives. Evelyn does not drink. Outside, Frankie passes the window. Does not look inside. Cecil follows 2 minutes later. Then Marla. Separate. Casual. A circle pretending to be pedestrians. Evelyn sees them. For the first time, she understands that the group is not waiting for her decision. They are waiting for the moment she believes it is hers. 13:04. Leon enters the diner, sits across from her. No greeting, no smile. He looks at the key beneath her hand. You got it. You sent flowers. I thought you liked carnations. I never said that. Leon removes his gloves. Then now I know. Evelyn stares at him. What is in the locker? Something your father needs to see. Then show him yourself. He won't meet with me. Good. Leon leans forward. You think this is about a favor? I think you lied to me from the first day. No. He looks at her wrist. The bracelet is gone. Not the first day. The answer is worse, because it admits there was a moment when truth became strategy. Evelyn places the key on the table. I'm done. Leon looks at it. You can't be. I just became. She stands. Leon catches her wrist. Not violently, firmly. The first true touch. Everything before was asking. This is taking. Evelyn looks at his hand, then at him. Let go. Leon does not. Around them, plates move. People talk. Nobody notices. Public places are not safe. They are only crowded. Sit down, Leon says. Let go. You don't understand what happens if you walk away. Then explain it. Leon looks toward the window. Frankie is outside. Cecil across the street. Marla near the alley. The circle is closed. Leon releases Evelyn. Slowly. Your father has something that belongs to men above me. What? Records. What records? Names. Evelyn sits again. Not because he ordered her, because the word names has weight in her father's world. Leon lowers his voice. Payments, deliveries, city contracts, men who get paid to look away. Evelyn looks at the key. And the locker? Proof. Against my father? Against everyone. Why me? Leon smiles without warmth. Because he would burn Harlem before letting someone use you. Evelyn's face tightens. Leon sees it. There. The answer he wanted. A father's love translated into leverage. 1309. Evelyn asks, what happens if I take the key home? Nothing. That is a lie. Leon shrugs. Then ask better. What happens to my family? Depends on your father. What happens to me? Leon looks at her. The longest pause yet. Depends on you. She pushes the key away. Leon pushes it back. A quiet movement. Metal over wood. No weapon visible. No need. Tonight, he says. No. Your father leaves the house at 8. How do you know? Leon's expression answers. They know more than his schedule. They know the house, the windows, the room, the photograph. Evelyn feels cold. Leon continues. Put the key inside the drawer of his study. Why? Because somebody will come for it. Who? You don't need to know. Inside our house? They've already been inside. The words strike harder than a hand. Evelyn remembers the note beneath her door. No footsteps. No knock. Her bedroom window. The hidden photographs she does not know exist. Suddenly, every ordinary sound in the house becomes suspicious. Floorboards, pipes, curtains moving, a door not fully closed. Leon watches fear replace anger. Do this, he says, and it ends. Evelyn looks at him. No. Leon's face does not change, but the room around his eyes does. Narrower, colder. Think carefully. I have. She stands. This time he lets her. She leaves the key on the table. Leon watches her walk toward the door, then says, Thomas Pell is still alive. Evelyn stops. Leon picks up the key. For now. 1331. Isaiah watches Evelyn leave the diner. Her face is pale, her steps too fast. He does not approach. Leon exits 3 minutes later. Frankie joins him. Cecil from across the street. Marla remains near the alley. Leon says something to her. Marla shakes her head. Leon grips her upper arm. Not hard enough to draw attention. Hard enough to remove argument. Isaiah sees it. Then Victor Salerno's gray overcoat appears at the far end of the block. He never approaches the group. He walks past. Leon glances at him. Victor does not glance back. A command delivered by not stopping. Leon releases Marla, points toward Evelyn. Marla begins following. Isaiah moves in the opposite direction. Not after Evelyn, after Victor. The decision tastes wrong, but Bumpy's instruction remains. See who believes you are gone. Victor enters a taxi. Isaiah records the number. The taxi drives downtown. Behind him, Evelyn turns a corner alone. Marla follows. The line splits. Protection always becomes dangerous when it must choose between the person and the plan. 14:18. Evelyn returns home. Lillian meets her in the hall. You're not at work. I felt sick. Lillian touches her forehead. Evelyn steps away. Not like that. Bumpy is not home. That should bring relief. Instead, the house feels exposed. Evelyn looks toward the staircase, toward the study door, closed. She remembers Leon's words. They've already been inside. Lillian notices her staring. What happened? Nothing. Evelyn, I need to lie down. Lillian takes her hand, feels the tension, sees the faint red mark around her wrist, where Leon held her. What is this? Evelyn pulls away. My bracelet. You aren't wearing it. I took it off. Lillian looks at her. A mother reads contradictions the way a bookkeeper reads missing money. Something is absent. That is the evidence. Did one of them hurt you? No. Did they threaten you? No. Are you afraid? Evelyn opens her mouth. Nothing comes. Fear named aloud becomes real. She turns toward the stairs. Lillian catches her gently. Your father can help. Evelyn looks at her. That is what they're counting on. Lillian's hand loosens. What does that mean? Evelyn climbs the stairs. I don't know. But she does. Not all of it. Enough. 14:44. Bumpy sits inside a parked car 3 blocks from the freight terminal. Not his Cadillac. A faded Plymouth with cracked leather seats. Isaiah enters the passenger side. Victor went to a customs brokerage near the river. Name? Adler and Finch. Who came out? A man carrying a blue ledger. Bumpy looks toward the terminal. Where did he take it? Northborough Sanitation Yard. The connection tightens. Locker. Records. Sanitation company. Municipal contracts. Bumpy thinks without movement. Thinking is not always visible. That is why it is often mistaken for calm. Isaiah continues. Evelyn went home. Alone? Marla followed. You left her. You told me to. Bumpy looks at him. Not anger. Assessment. Isaiah holds the gaze. I made sure she reached the block. Did Marla enter? No. Bumpy looks toward the terminal gates. A sanitation truck exits. Same green body. Same white lettering. Mud across the lower panels. Bumpy watches it turn east. What's in 317? Isaiah asks. Not what they told her. How do you know? Because if the proof could hurt me, they would not need my daughter to carry the key. Isaiah waits. Bumpy continues. They need the key inside my house. To make it look like yours? To make whatever opens that locker belong to me. Paper is colder than steel. Steel kills a man. Paper explains why he deserved it. 15:02. Bumpy returns home through the kitchen entrance. Lillian waits beside the table. She came back. I know. You know? He removes his coat. Lillian's anger rises. Of course you know. Bumpy looks at the staircase. Where is she? Upstairs. Did she say anything? She said they are counting on you helping. Bumpy stops. The sentence confirms the plan. They want reaction, not compliance. Evelyn was never meant to carry the key secretly. She was meant to be caught with it, or forced to confess, or frightened enough to bring Bumpy toward the terminal. Every path points to him. A trap with several entrances feels like choice. It is still a trap. Lillian says, go talk to her. Bumpy does not move. She won't tell me. She might. No. Because you don't know how to ask? Bumpy looks at her. Because she thinks silence protects us. Lillian lowers her voice. Where did she learn that? The question has no safe answer. Bumpy walks toward the stairs. 15:08. He stops outside Evelyn's room. Knocks once. No answer. Evelyn. I'm sleeping. No. A pause. Then, I don't want to talk. Bumpy rests one hand on the doorframe. You met Leon this morning. Silence. He gave you a key. More silence. You did not bring it home. The door opens. Evelyn stands in front of him. Anger first. Fear behind it. How do you know everything? I don't. You knew where I went. Yes. You knew what he gave me. Yes. You know I left it. Yes. She laughs once. Broken. So what don't you know? Bumpy looks at her wrist. The red mark. His eyes remain there 1 second too long. Evelyn covers it. He raises his gaze. I don't know what he said would happen if you refused. She looks away. Bumpy waits. No pressure. No order. Only the question. Evelyn walks toward the window. He said there were records. What records? Payments? Deliveries? City contracts? Whose? He said yours. Bumpy's expression does not change. Evelyn turns. Are there? A father hears the question. A criminal hears the risk. Both answers arrive at once. Only one can leave his mouth. There are always records. Evelyn stares. That isn't an answer. It is the safest one. For who? Bumpy says nothing. She turns back toward the window. Exactly. 15:13. Bumpy enters the room, not far, just enough for the door to remain open behind him. Open doors matter. They tell frightened people they can leave. What did he ask you to do? Put the key in your study. Where? The drawer. Which drawer? He didn't say. That matters. Anyone who knows the house should know the drawer. Anyone who does not specify wants the key found anywhere, not hidden, discovered. Bumpy asks, what else? Evelyn's shoulders tighten. He said Thomas is alive. Thomas Pell? She turns. You know his name? Yes, of course. She shakes her head. He said if I walked away. She stops. Bumpy waits. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. No. Her voice softens. No, he didn't. Bumpy looks at his daughter, 20 years old, standing inside the life he built to keep clean. Now forced to translate threats he had hoped she would never learn to hear. He says, you will not see Leon again. The old tone returns. The command. Evelyn's face closes immediately. There it is. This is not an argument. It always becomes one when you decide the ending. He threatened you. He threatened Thomas. He used Thomas to threaten you. And what are you going to do? Bumpy says nothing. Evelyn steps closer. That's what I thought. What? You're not worried about me. His eyes harden. She continues before courage leaves. You're worried somebody used me to challenge you. The words strike the wrong man, but they came from the right wound. Bumpy answers quietly. You are the only reason they are still breathing. Evelyn freezes. The room loses air. He regrets the sentence immediately, not because it is false, because it is true in a language she was never meant to understand. 15:16. Evelyn steps back. There, her voice shakes. That is why I didn't tell you. Bumpy's face remains still. You think saying that protects me? No. You think it makes me feel safe? No. Then why say it? Bumpy looks toward the hallway. Lillian stands beyond the doorway, listening. He lowers his voice. Because fear is already in this room. He looks at Evelyn. and lies will not remove it. Evelyn's eyes fill. You don't know how to be a father without making someone afraid. Bumpy takes the sentence. Does not defend himself. Sometimes defense is only pride trying to survive truth. Lillian enters. That is enough. Evelyn turns away. Bumpy says, "Stay home tonight." Evelyn laughs bitterly. A request? Yes. Or an order? Bumpy pauses. The pause answers badly. Evelyn walks toward the dresser. I'm tired. Bumpy looks at Lillian. Lillian opens the door wider. A signal. Leave. He does. The door closes behind him. Not hard, not gentle. Final. 1602. Leon waits inside a garage near 8th Avenue. Cecil sits on the hood of a stolen Ford. Ricky cleans dirt from beneath his nails with a pocket knife. Marla stands near the open doors. Rain begins outside. Light at first, then steady. Leon looks at the clock. She's home, Marla asks. How do you know? Because Johnson went home. Maybe he already knows. Leon smiles. He knows enough to be careful. Victor Salerno enters from the rear office. He carries no umbrella. His gray coat is dark at the shoulders. The locker is cleared, he says. Leon looks at him. What? Moved. Where? Victor removes his gloves. Not your concern. Leon steps forward. The key was the whole point. The key was one point. Victor looks toward Cecil. Bring the boy. Cecil opens the Ford's rear door. Thomas Pell is curled on the floor. Wrists tied, mouth bruised. Alive. Victor looks at him without emotion. Tonight, the girl brings Johnson to us. Leon says, she won't. Victor turns. Then give her a reason. Marla's face tightens. What reason? Victor looks at Leon, not Marla. She believes he is alive because she refused. He gestures toward Thomas. Teach her what refusal changes. Leon's expression shifts. For the first time, hesitation. Not morality. Fear of what comes after. Victor notices. You wanted to stand outside your father's shadow. Leon says nothing. Victor steps closer. Now you are asking whether darkness is safe. 1631. Rain strikes the Johnson windows. Evelyn sits on her bed. The train timetable lies beside her. Philadelphia, 1240, 1415, 1605. All gone. One evening train remains. 1920. She looks at the clock. Enough time. She takes a suitcase from beneath the bed, opens it, places 2 dresses inside, a sweater, toothbrush. The silver bracelet remains on the dresser. She leaves it, then returns, picks it up, places it in the suitcase. Not sentiment, evidence, proof that the mistake happened. She writes a note to her mother, stops after 3 words. I need time. She tears the paper, starts again. I'm safe. Another lie. Tears it. A knock at the window. Not the door. The window. Evelyn turns. 2nd floor. Rain on glass. Nothing there. Then a small stone strikes again. She approaches carefully. Looks down. Marla stands in the alley. Hair wet. Face pale. She gestures urgently. Come down. Evelyn opens the window slightly. What are you doing? Marla looks over her shoulder. Thomas is in trouble. Evelyn's stomach tightens. Call the police. They'll kill him before police arrive. Who? Marla looks up. Leon. The name changes everything. Evelyn grips the window frame. Why are you telling me? Because this got bigger than he said. What did he say? Marla shakes her head. No time. Evelyn looks toward the bedroom door. Downstairs, voices. Her parents. Close. Safety beneath her. Danger below the window. Choice creates the illusion of control. But both paths have already been arranged by someone else. Marla says, bring no one. Evelyn almost laughs. The same command again. Come alone. Isolation is the first tool of every trap. She knows this now. and still begins putting on her coat. Knowing a trap exists does not remove the person caught inside it. 1638. Evelyn leaves through the kitchen entrance. Lillian is in the sitting room. Bumpy is on the telephone. Rain covers the sound. She moves quickly along the rear passage. Marla waits at the alley entrance. You told Leon? No. Where is Thomas? Garage. Which one? Marla begins walking. Evelyn follows, not close, 5 steps behind. A small attempt at caution. Marla turns. You trust me? No. Good. They continue. At the corner, a sanitation truck is parked. Green body, white letters, Northborough. The driver watches them in the mirror. Evelyn does not notice. Marla does. Her pace quickens. The driver starts the engine. 1641. Inside the house, Bumpy ends the telephone call. Isaiah's voice remains in his mind. Victor moved the contents. The locker is empty. The garage is active. Bumpy looks toward the staircase. Something is wrong. Not noise. Absence. Houses announce departure differently from arrival. A floorboard that does not creak. A coat missing from a hook. Air moving through a door left open. He enters the kitchen. The rear door is not fully closed. Rain dots the floor. Lillian appears behind him. What? Bumpy touches the door. Cold. She left. Lillian's face loses color. Where? He looks toward the alley. A small stone lies near the back step. Wet. Not by herself. 1646. Marla leads Evelyn beneath the elevated tracks. Rain falls through gaps in dirty lines. Trains thunder above. Every sound is broken. Impossible to measure. Impossible to trust. Evelyn asks, how far? 2 blocks. You said garage. It is. Why would Leon take Thomas there? Marla does not answer. Evelyn stops. Marla continues 3 steps before noticing. Tell me. Marla turns. Rain runs down her face. I don't know everything. Tell me what you know. Marla looks back toward the street. The sanitation truck turns the corner behind them. Slowly. I know Leon didn't choose you because he liked you. I know. I know Victor chose Leon because of his father. Who is Victor? Marla looks at her. The man your father should be afraid of. Evelyn almost smiles. Not from humor, from disbelief. You don't know my father. No. Marla steps closer. But Victor does. The train passes overhead. For 5 seconds, no words survive. When the sound clears, Marla says, Your father once kept records on half the men Victor worked for. Records of what? Enough to bury them. Does he still have them? I don't know. Then why me? Marla's eyes lower. Because they think he'll trade anything for you. Evelyn looks at her. And will he? Marla answers quietly. Yes. The certainty hurts more than doubt. 1653. Bumpy and Isaiah stand in the alley behind the house. Isaiah examines footprints in the rain. 2 women, 1 pair of narrow heels, 1 low shoes. Marla, Evelyn. They went east, Isaiah says. Bumpy looks toward the street. The green sanitation truck is gone. Victor moved her in company transport. How do you know? Because he wants every object to belong to the same story. Truck, locker, contractor, records, key. If police arrive later, every road points toward Bumpy's supposed involvement in stolen municipal files. A criminal operation wearing public service clothing, cheap paint, expensive ink. Isaiah asks, Garage? Probably. We go? No. Isaiah looks at him. Bumpy's face is calm. Too calm. What are we waiting for? For the second movement. That's your daughter. I know. Then why? Bumpy turns. The look ends the sentence. Not anger. Pain hardened into control. They want me running. He points toward the street. A running man sees only where he is going. A pause. I need to see who moves when they think I cannot. Isaiah understands the logic, hates it. Logic is not mercy. It only explains why mercy is delayed. 1702. Marla and Evelyn enter the garage through a side door. The main floor is empty. One hanging bulb. Oil stains. Tools along the wall. A Ford parked near the rear. Evelyn sees Thomas on the floor beside it, hands tied, face swollen. She runs toward him. Thomas tries to speak through a strip of cloth. Marla closes the door. "Untie him," Evelyn says. Marla does not move. "Untie him," a voice answers from the office. "She can't." Leon steps out. Cecil behind him, Ricky near the stairs. The circle closes. Evelyn turns toward Marla. "You said Leon." "I know." Marla's face is broken with shame. "I'm sorry." Leon walks closer. "You always bring the wrong people into things." Evelyn looks at Thomas. "He needs a doctor. He needs his brother to listen." "You're insane." Leon smiles. "No." He glances toward the clock. "Just out of time." Evelyn steps between Thomas and Leon. Again. The same movement as the basement. But now no music, no public room, no easy exit. Leon notices the repetition. "So brave when there's someone smaller behind you." Evelyn stares at him. "You're only brave when there's someone weaker in front of you." The words reach him. Cecil laughs. Leon looks at Cecil. The laugh stops. Pride is a glass held too tightly. It breaks inward. 1706. Victor Salerno descends from the office stairs. Evelyn recognizes the gray coat from nowhere. That frightens her more. A face without memory. A man already present in her life without introduction. Victor looks at her. "So this is Johnson's daughter." Evelyn says nothing. Victor walks around her slowly, not admiring, measuring. "You have his eyes." Leon looks away. Victor continues. "Not his discipline." Evelyn asks, "What do you want?" "The same thing everyone wants from your father." "What?" "To learn whether he has limits." Victor removes his gloves, places them on the hood of the Ford. He has spent years convincing men he does not. Evelyn looks at Thomas. "Let him go." Victor smiles faintly. "You think this is about him?" "No." She looks back at Victor. "I think he's here because you're afraid to be alone with me." Cecil looks at Leon. Ricky suppresses a smile. Victor's expression remains still, but still water can hide depth. He steps closer. "Your father taught Harlem that fear should be quiet." Evelyn holds his gaze. "He also taught it to recognize men who talk too much." The room tightens. Leon's face changes. Victor studies her, then smiles. A real smile this time. Small, cold. "Perhaps there is more of him in you than I expected." 1711. Victor places the black case on the hood, opens it. The brass key. 317. He slides it toward Evelyn. "Take it." "No." "Take it." She does not move. Victor nods toward Thomas. Cecil strikes the boy in the side. Thomas folds. Evelyn steps forward. "Stop." "Take it." She looks at Leon. He avoids her eyes. The man who remembered her favorite pastry. The man who listened to music stories. The man who made control sound like freedom. Now standing 3 feet away while another person is beaten. Charm is not the opposite of cruelty. Sometimes it is how cruelty enters without knocking. Evelyn picks up the key. Victor closes the case. "Good. What now?" "You go home." Her eyes narrow. "That's all?" "You place it in your father's study." "And then?" Victor looks at the clock. "Then your father decides whether you remain his daughter." A pause. "Or become his mistake." 1718. Bumpy sits in the rear of the faded Plymouth. Isaiah drives slowly around the district. No headlights yet. Rain has softened to mist. Bumpy studies a street map. Not addresses. Patterns. Sanitation routes. Garage permits. Drainage tunnels. Municipal vehicles move through neighborhoods without being questioned. They stop beside buildings. Enter alleys. Carry locked containers. The perfect machinery for invisible crime. Isaiah says there are 6 Northborough properties. 5. The records show 6. 1 is false. How do you know? No water connection. Isaiah looks at him. A sanitation garage without water. Yes. Which one? Bumpy taps the map. 8th Avenue. The garage where Evelyn stands. Isaiah turns the wheel. Bumpy says, not yet. Isaiah grips the steering wheel. We found it. We found the room. What else do you need? The exit. Isaiah looks at him through the mirror. Bumpy folds the map. A trap is not dangerous because of the room. He looks out at the wet street. It is dangerous because somebody else chose how you leave. 1724. Victor gives Evelyn instructions. Walk out alone. Take the key home. Place it in the study. At 2000, leave the kitchen window unlatched. No police. No father. No Isaiah. Evelyn's face changes at the name. Victor notices. Yes, he smiles. We know the quiet man, too. Marla looks toward the door, nervous. Victor continues. If the window is locked, Thomas dies. Evelyn looks at the boy. If I do everything? He goes home. Alive? Victor's smile fades. You are learning to ask precise questions. Answer it. He goes home alive. Evelyn nods slowly, then looks at Thomas. His eyes tell her not to believe it. Fear can still speak when the mouth is covered. Victor gestures toward Leon. Take her out. Leon reaches for Evelyn's arm. She pulls away. I can walk. He looks at Victor. Victor nods. Leon opens the side door. Rain smell enters. Evelyn passes him. At the threshold, Victor says, Miss Johnson. She stops. Your father will know you lied to him. She looks back. Victor's voice remains calm. That will hurt him more than the key. Evelyn leaves. The door closes. Victor understands power. Not completely, but enough to know where fathers bleed. 1731. Outside, Leon walks beside Evelyn. The street is nearly empty. Rainwater fills broken pavement. A sanitation truck waits at the corner. Leon says, I didn't want it like this. Evelyn keeps walking. That sentence is for you. What? So you can still think you're not like them. Leon grabs her arm. Listen. She turns sharply. Don't touch me. He releases her, looks toward the garage, then lowers his voice. Do what he says. No, Leon stares. He'll kill Thomas. He'll kill him anyway. Leon's expression flickers. She sees the truth, not certainty. Possibility. Enough. You know that, she says. No. You know he might. Leon looks away. Evelyn steps closer. You brought me here knowing he might. Leon's jaw tightens. You think your father is better? This isn't about him. It is always about him. There it is. The wound beneath Leon's plan. Not money, not records. A dead father's humiliation inherited by a son too weak to build his own name. Evelyn says, My father didn't make you this. Leon's face hardens. No, he looks at her. But he made sure men like my father stayed small. Evelyn answers, Maybe your father was small before he met him. The sentence leaves her mouth. Too sharp, too late. Leon's hand moves. One strike, open palm, across her face. The sound is small beneath the rain, but the world changes around it. Evelyn stumbles against the brick wall. Leon freezes. The anger leaves immediately, replaced by fear. Not fear for her, fear of the man who will see the mark. 1732. Evelyn touches her cheek. No tears. Not yet. Leon steps toward her. I didn't. She raises one hand. He stops. The side of her face burns. A thin cut near the cheekbone. Blood no larger than a line. Leon looks toward the garage. No one saw. He hopes. Hope is what guilty men use before evidence speaks. Evelyn looks at him. For the first time, there is no confusion, no charm, no rebellion, only recognition. You're afraid. Leon says nothing. Not of what you did. She lowers her hand. Of who will find out. Leon grabs her wrist again. Harder. You say nothing. Evelyn looks at his hand, then at him. You already know I won't need to. He releases her. His face drains. A bruise is a message the body writes without permission. Leon steps back. The sanitation truck pulls forward. Driver opens the passenger door. Leon says, Get in. Evelyn does not move. Get in. No. He glances toward the garage. Victor may be watching. Everything Leon does now is measured by two fears. The man behind him. The man waiting ahead. Evelyn walks away. Alone. Leon lets her. Some doors close because a person is finished. Others because everyone understands chasing would make the mistake louder. 1748. Evelyn walks through rain. No umbrella. Brown coat dark at the shoulders. Cheek swelling. She holds the key in her fist until the teeth cut into her palm. Cars pass. People hurry beneath awnings. Nobody notices her. There is a strange loneliness in being surrounded by witnesses who have not looked up. She reaches a public restroom near a bus terminal, enters, locks herself inside a stall. For the first time, she cries. Not loudly. Noise would make it public. She presses both hands against her mouth. The girl in the red coat. The girl who wanted her own life. The girl who thought her father's warnings were only control. She is still there, but now she has met the price of proving him wrong. After several minutes, she washes her face. The bruise is visible. Powder will not hide it. She combs her hair over one side. It helps from a distance, not close. Fathers look close. She places the key inside her handbag, then removes it, walks to the sink, holds it above the drain. One movement. Drop it. End the demand. Risk Thomas. Risk everything. She cannot. The key returns to her pocket, not because she obeys Victor, because she still believes she can find a third path. People believe in third paths when the first two require courage they do not yet have. 1806. Bumpy and Isaiah watch the false sanitation garage from a roof across the street. The mist has ended. City lights appear in wet pavement. Leon returns alone. He enters through the side door. Bumpy sees the way he moves. Fast, shoulders tight, checks behind himself twice. A man carrying a mistake. Isaiah says, "Where is she?" Bumpy does not answer. Victor appears inside the garage window. Leon speaks. Victor's face changes. Then Cecil moves toward the door. Bumpy watches. No Evelyn. No Marla. Thomas still inside. Isaiah looks at Bumpy. "We go now." Bumpy continues watching. Victor strikes Leon. Backhand. Leon falls against the desk. A punishment. For what? Failure? Disobedience? Or something Victor did not order? Bumpy's eyes narrow. He looks toward the street Leon came from. Then, at the time, 1806. Find her route home. Isaiah moves toward the stairwell. Bumpy remains, watching Leon touch his own face. The same side. The gesture. The hesitation. The fear. Bumpy understands before he sees the bruise. A man does not need to witness the hand. He needs only to recognize the silence after it. 1821. Lillian calls the conservatory. No answer. Calls her sister. Evelyn never arrived. Calls the house of a former school friend. Nothing. She stands in the hallway. The clock ticks. Every sound grows larger when a child is late. At 20, Evelyn is not a child. At 1821, that distinction means nothing. Lillian sees headlights outside, runs to the window. Not Bumpy. A city bus. Passengers descend. No Evelyn. She returns to the telephone, starts dialing again, stops halfway, hears the front door. The key turns slowly. Evelyn enters, wet, hair across one side of her face. Lillian exhales, then sees how her daughter avoids the light. "Where were you?" "I walked." "In this rain?" "Yes." Lillian approaches. Evelyn turns away. "I'm tired." "What happened?" "Nothing." The word again, now damaged. Lillian reaches toward her hair. Evelyn flinches, too fast. A mother sees the bruise before the hair is moved. Not all of it. Enough. Her face changes. "Who did this?" Evelyn backs away. "Nobody." "Who?" "I fell." "Do not lie to me." Evelyn's eyes fill. "Please." One word, not defiance, not anger. A plea. Lillian looks toward the front windows. Bumpy is not home. For the first time, she is grateful and terrified that he will be. 1827. Lillian takes Evelyn upstairs, closes the bedroom door, turns on the lamp. The bruise is darker now, red along the cheekbone, blue beginning beneath. A small cut. Nothing broken. Everything changed. Lillian wets a cloth, presses it gently to Evelyn's face. Evelyn winces. "Leon?" No answer. "That means yes." "I didn't say that. You didn't need to." Evelyn looks toward the floor. Lillian sits beside her. "What happened?" "I can't tell you." "Why?" "They have Thomas." "Who is Thomas?" "A boy." "Your friend?" "No." "Then why are you involved?" Evelyn closes her eyes. "Because I tried to help." Lillian holds the cloth against the bruise. Helping someone does not mean becoming a hostage. They want something from Daddy. The word comes naturally. Not Bumpy. Not father. Daddy. Fear removes years. Lillian's hand stops. "What?" "A key." Evelyn takes it from her pocket, places it on the bedspread. Brass, 317. Lillian looks at it. "What does it open?" "A locker." "What is inside?" "I don't know." "What do they want you to do?" Evelyn's voice becomes quiet. "Put it in his study." Lillian looks toward the door. The house suddenly feels occupied by invisible men. "What happens if you don't?" Evelyn looks at the bruise reflected in the mirror. "They kill Thomas." 1834. Bumpy enters the house. Lillian hears him downstairs. Hat placed on hook, coat removed. Same routine. The routine of a man who does not yet know the room above him has changed. Evelyn grabs the key. "Don't tell him." Lillian looks at her. "He needs to know." "No. He can help." "That's what they want." "He can protect you." Evelyn touches the bruise. "Look what happened, because I thought I didn't need protection." Lillian's face softens. "That is not your fault. I went there. You did not make him hit you. I gave him the chance." "No." Lillian takes her hands. "Do not carry his guilt because your pride brought you near him." Evelyn looks toward the door. Footsteps on the stairs. Slow. Measured. Bumpy does not hurry inside his own house. The house comes to him. Evelyn whispers, "Please." Lillian looks at her daughter, then at the key, then toward the approaching steps. A wife can protect a daughter from a father's anger, but not from a father's eyes. 1836. Bumpy knocks. Lillian opens the door only halfway. She isn't feeling well. Bumpy looks at her. "What happened?" "Nothing." The lie sounds worse in Lillian's voice. Bumpy's gaze moves past her. Evelyn sits near the dresser with her face turned toward the window, hair covering one side, too deliberate. Bumpy enters. Lillian steps aside. The room becomes small. Evelyn says, "I'm tired." Bumpy closes the door behind him. Not locked, just closed. He stands near the foot of the bed. "Look at me." She does not. Evelyn. Slowly, she turns. The hair moves. The bruise appears. Bumpy sees it. His face does not change. No widening eyes, no clenched jaw, no question. Silence fills the room, not empty, not passive, a command passing through every wall. Lillian watches him. Evelyn waits for anger, for shouting, for the man Leon feared. Nothing comes. Bumpy looks at the bruise, then at her wrist, the red marks, then at the key half hidden beneath her hand. He understands enough, not every detail. Enough. He steps closer. Evelyn says, "Daddy." Bumpy raises one hand, not to strike, not to stop her, to say she does not need to explain yet. He looks at the bruise once more, then turns toward the door. Lillian says, "Ellsworth." He stops. She has used the name meant for home, for the husband, for the father, not the street. He does not look back. "What are you going to do?" Bumpy opens the door. "Nothing." The answer is calm. Too calm. He leaves. The door closes. Evelyn looks at her mother. Lillian does not believe him. Neither does the room. 1841. Bumpy descends the stairs, one step at a time. No rush, no sound except wood beneath shoes. At the bottom, Isaiah waits near the front entrance. He sees Bumpy's face, asks nothing. Bumpy walks into the study, opens the top drawer. Empty. He places the brass key inside, not because Victor ordered it, because Bumpy wants the story to continue believing it is in control. He closes the drawer, looks at the clock. 1841. 19 minutes before the demanded window. 79 minutes before 8. Enough time for patience. Enough time for rage to become structure. Blood makes noise. Noise brings police. Noise gives enemies funerals and stories. Bumpy does not want a story for Leon Vance. He wants a life, a long one, a life that remembers one mistake every morning. Bumpy leaves the study. Isaiah follows him to the hall. "Was it Leon?" Bumpy puts on his coat. No question yet. Isaiah watches him. "What do you need?" "One car." "How many men?" "One." "Me?" Bumpy looks toward the staircase. "No." He opens the front door. Someone who knows how to keep a trunk open. At the 1903. At the garage, Victor checks his watch. The key should be inside Bumpy's study. The kitchen window should open at 8. Thomas remains tied near the Ford. Cecil drinks from a bottle. Ricky watches the alley. Leon sits alone near the office. A bruise forms across his own cheek where Victor struck him. Marla stands beside the side door. She has not spoken since returning. Victor looks at Leon. "You hit her." Leon says nothing. Victor walks closer. "I gave you a task." "She insulted my father." Victor looks almost amused. "Your father is dead." Leon's eyes rise. Victor continues. "And still he controls your hand." Leon stands. Victor does not step back. "You think Johnson will kill me?" Leon asks. Victor adjusts one glove. "No." The answer surprises everyone. Victor looks toward the clock. "He will do something worse." "What?" Victor smiles faintly. "He will make the punishment useful." Leon tries to laugh. It fails. Outside, a dark car passes the garage. Does not slow, does not stop. Bumpy is not inside it, not yet. But Leon turns toward the sound. Some men hear danger only after they have created it. 1926. Evelyn sits beside her bedroom window. The bruise darkens under the lamp. Lillian remains with her. Neither speaks. Downstairs, the study drawer contains the key. The kitchen window remains locked. At 19:26, the telephone rings. Lillian stands. Evelyn catches her hand. Don't. The telephone rings again, then stops. A minute later, 3 knocks strike the front door. Not loud. Even. Lillian looks toward the hallway. Evelyn's breathing changes. Is it them? I don't know. Footsteps downstairs. Isaiah. The front door opens. A man speaks quietly, then leaves. Isaiah comes upstairs, stops outside the bedroom. Lillian opens the door. He hands her a folded piece of paper. No words. She opens it. 1 sentence. The window stays locked. No signature. None needed. Evelyn reads it. What does that mean? Isaiah answers, it means your father knows they are waiting. Where is he? Isaiah looks at the bruise. His face changes only slightly, but enough. He is making sure they keep waiting. 1958. Victor stands inside the garage. 2 minutes before 8. Ricky watches the rear alley. Cecil watches the street. Leon watches the clock. Marla watches Thomas. Everyone watches something different. That is how plans begin to split. Victor says, at 8 we move. Leon asks, what if the window is locked? Victor looks at him. Then we use the boy. Thomas raises his head. Marla steps forward. You promised. Victor does not look at her. Promises are for people with equal choices. The clock hand moves. 1959. Rainwater drips through the garage roof. 1 drop, then another. Metal bucket beneath. A hollow sound. Counting, not seconds. Mistakes. Leon's eyes move toward the street. No Cadillac, no men, no sign of Bumpy. That frightens him more. A visible enemy can be measured. Silence cannot. 2000. The kitchen window remains locked. Victor checks his watch. 2000. Alignment, but not his. He looks at Ricky. Go. Ricky exits through the side door. Cecil unties Thomas's feet, but leaves his hands bound. Marla backs toward the wall. Leon stands. What now? Victor looks at him. Now Johnson chooses. Outside, an engine starts. Not near the garage. Farther down the block. Headlights appear through the rain-streaked glass. A black car turns the corner. Slowly. Leon steps toward the window. The car passes. Does not stop. Empty rear seat. Different driver. A decoy. Victor's face tightens. The first sign. The plan has reached a place he did not choose. Leon whispers, he knows. Victor looks at him. Of course he knows. No. Leon touches the bruise on his own face. His voice lowers. He knows about her. Victor says nothing. Leon looks toward the garage doors. The fear arrives fully now. Not of death. Death is fast. Bumpy Johnson is known for making time do the work. And somewhere beyond the garage, somewhere without headlights, a father is moving through Harlem without hurry. Not toward a war, not toward revenge, toward an answer. The difference will become visible before morning. Chapter 3. 2017. The garage waits for Bumpy Johnson. That is its first mistake. Victor stands near the office. Cecil watches the street. Ricky watches the alley. Leon watches the clock. Thomas remains on the floor. Marla remains near the wall. Everyone expects movement. Cars, gunfire, men entering from several doors. Nothing happens. Silence begins to press against the building. A plan becomes weak the moment it starts asking where the enemy is. Victor checks his watch. 2017. He's not coming, Cecil says. Victor looks at him. He is already here. Leon turns toward the windows. Nothing. Victor means the fear. But fear is not a man. It cannot be shot. It cannot be followed. It can only be carried. 2026. The lights go out. Not only in the garage, the entire block. Dark windows. Dead street lamps. One transformer sound in the distance. Then nothing. Cecil reaches for his weapon. Victor says, "Don't." Too late. A glass bottle rolls across the garage floor. Small sound. Sharp movement. Cecil fires toward it. The flash reveals everyone. For less than 1 second. Victor near the office. Ricky beside the alley. Marla against the wall. Leon in the center. Thomas on the floor. A photograph made by gunfire. Then darkness again. Outside, police whistles sound 2 blocks away. Not approaching. Waiting. Victor understands. Bumpy has not entered the trap. He has made the trap visible to everyone around it. A gunshot in a false sanitation garage. A tied boy. Stolen vehicles. Municipal records. One police search could bury Victor's whole structure. Power does not always destroy the room. Sometimes it opens the curtains. 2029, Victor grabs the blue ledger from the office. "Move!" Cecil unlocks the rear doors. Ricky pulls Thomas upright. Marla steps between them. He stays. Victor looks at her. He is evidence. He is a boy. Tonight, that is the same thing. Leon sees headlights appear in the alley. 2 vehicles, not police. Victor looks at Leon. "Your car." Leon does not move. Now. The rear doors open. The alley is empty. No vehicles. Only headlights reflected in 2 large mirrors positioned at the far wall. Another trick. Another direction. Victor turns. The front garage doors begin rising. Slowly. Nobody touched the chain. Light enters from the street. A sanitation truck is parked outside. Driver missing. Engine running. Victor looks toward the truck, then toward Leon. The entire plan now points back at Northborough, at Victor, at the records. Bumpy has not fired once. Paper is colder than steel. Tonight, machinery is colder than both. 2034, Victor leaves through the office stairwell. Alone. No farewell, no instruction. Powerful men hire loyalty by the hour. When the hour becomes expensive, they leave first. Cecil follows. Then Ricky. Neither takes Thomas. Marla cuts the rope around his wrists. Leon stands in the middle of the garage, abandoned. He looks toward the open front doors. The street is empty. Then a black Cadillac turns the corner. Slow. No escort. No noise. The car stops. Bumpy steps out. One bodyguard remains behind the wheel. Leon cannot see his face clearly. Only the posture, the certainty. Bumpy enters the garage. Looks at Thomas. Looks at Marla. Then at Leon. No greeting. No question. He walks to Thomas. Cuts the remaining rope. "Can you stand?" Thomas nods. "Go home." Thomas looks at Leon. Then at Bumpy. "Sir, home." Thomas leaves with Marla. The garage becomes larger after they are gone. Only 3 men remain. Bumpy. Leon. The bodyguard outside. Silence here is not the absence of sound. It is a verdict waiting for a name. 2038, Leon tries to speak. "Mr. Johnson." Bumpy raises one hand. Leon stops. There are men who command with volume. Bumpy commands by removing the need for it. He looks at Leon's cheek, Victor's bruise, then at the hand that struck Evelyn. "You used your right hand?" Leon's face changes. Bumpy already knows. That is worse than being accused. "I lost my temper." Bumpy looks at him. A man loses keys. A pause. He chooses where his hand goes. Leon swallows. It wasn't supposed to happen. Most mistakes are not. Bumpy turns toward the entrance. The bodyguard opens the Cadillac's trunk. Leon hears the metal latch. His breathing changes. Bumpy looks back at him. No anger, No satisfaction. Only decision. Leon steps backward. Wait. Bumpy approaches. Leon raises both hands. Please. Bumpy says nothing. He grabs Leon by the collar. One movement. Direct. Leon tries to pull away. The bodyguard enters and draws a pistol. Not at Leon. At Cecil and Ricky, who have reappeared at the end of the alley. They stop. They see Bumpy. They see the open trunk. They understand. Young men often believe courage means moving first. Experience teaches them that survival sometimes means not moving at all. Bumpy drags Leon toward the Cadillac. Leon looks at the others. Nobody helps. A group built on fear becomes empty the moment fear changes direction. Bumpy pushes him into the trunk. Leon strikes the floor. Turns. Mr. Johnson! The trunk closes. A sentence ended by metal. 2106. The Cadillac leaves Harlem. No convoy. No police chase. No music from the radio. The city becomes smaller behind them. Leon pounds against the trunk twice, then stops. A man may fight darkness at first. After enough miles, he begins listening to it. The bodyguard drives north. Bumpy sits in the back, hands folded. No discussion. Revenge made in anger is usually wasteful. Bumpy is not angry now. Anger has been converted into distance, into time, into consequence. 2241. The car stops outside an abandoned farmhouse beyond the city. A barn leans toward one side. A basement door sits beneath the kitchen steps. The bodyguard opens the trunk. Leon shields his eyes from the light. Bumpy says, "Out." Leon obeys. That is new. 3 hours ago, he believed obedience was humiliation. Now it feels like survival. They take him into the basement. Concrete floor. One chair. One table. One hanging bulb. No chains. No blood. No weapons displayed. A locked door is enough. The bodyguard removes Leon's belt, his shoelaces, his watch. Time belongs to the room now. Bumpy stands near the stairs. Leon looks at him. "What do you want?" Bumpy studies him. 3 days. "What?" "You wanted to know my limit." Bumpy turns toward the door. "Use the time." The bulb remains on. The door closes. Leon is left alone. Day 2, 11:18. No clock, no window, bread, water, a metal bucket, footsteps above, never entering. Leon tries counting meals, then footsteps, then sleep. Counting is how people soothe fear, but fear changes the numbers. A minute becomes an hour, a night becomes a punishment. Nobody questions him, nobody strikes him, nobody explains. Violence gives pain a shape. Silence lets the mind invent one. Day 3, 1603. The basement door opens. Bumpy descends alone. Dark suit, white shirt, a folder beneath one arm. Leon stands too quickly, almost falls. His face is pale, his voice rough. "I'm sorry." Bumpy places the folder on the table. Sorry is a word people use when consequences arrive. Leon looks at the paper. What is that? A choice. Bumpy opens the folder. A contract. 10 years. Employment with Northborough Waste and Drainage. Street sanitation. Public toilets. Sewer maintenance. Night shifts when required. No unauthorized absence. No resignation. No transfer. Leon reads the first page, then the second. His hands begin shaking. "You're joking." Bumpy looks around the basement. Leon stops. The room does not support the theory. Bumpy places a pen beside the contract. "You have 2 choices." Leon looks at him. Bumpy speaks quietly. "I end your life here." A pause. "Or you sign." Leon looks down. 10 years, 10 winters, 10 summers. Every morning carrying the memory of one hand moving too quickly. "You can't make me work." Bumpy's eyes remain still. "No." He looks at the pen. fear will. 1607. Leon reads the final clause. His face changes. What does this mean? Bumpy looks at the page. If you disappear, your obligation does not. My family has nothing to do with this. Neither did mine. Leon lowers his eyes. Bumpy continues. You brought my daughter into your debt. A pause. Now your family stands behind yours. Leon looks at the pen. Paper is colder than steel. Steel ends a moment. Paper can organize the next 10 years. Leon signs. The pen scratches across the page. Small sound. Louder than a gunshot. Bumpy closes the folder. Leon whispers, when do I start? Bumpy walks toward the stairs. Tomorrow. 6:12. Leon's first morning begins before sunrise. Gray uniform, rubber gloves, heavy boots. A sanitation supervisor hands him a hose. No explanation, no respect. Public toilets first, storm drains after, sewer grates before lunch. Leon looks toward the street. People pass. Some recognize him. Most do not. Yesterday he wanted Harlem to notice him. Today he prays it will not. A man's life can turn on one movement, one hand, 1 second, one face. 1 week later, 0924. Bumpy drives with Evelyn through Harlem. No bodyguard in the back, no business conversation, only father and daughter. Her bruise is fading, yellow at the edges, still visible. The city moves outside the windows, vendors, buses, children crossing the street. Ordinary life, the life Bumpy wanted for her, the life he could not keep completely separate from himself. Evelyn looks ahead. I'm sorry. Bumpy keeps his eyes on the road. For what? For not listening. That wasn't your mistake. She turns toward him. What was? Bumpy stops at a red light. He looks at the fading bruise on her cheek. There are mistakes that create problems. He raises one finger. Not touching, only indicating the mark. Evelyn looks down. The light changes. Bumpy drives forward. At the next block, a sanitation crew works beside a row of public toilets. One man is on his knees near an open drain. Gray uniform, rubber gloves, hose in both hands. Leon. He hears the Cadillac, looks up, recognizes it. His face becomes still. Bumpy turns his head toward him, only once, then looks back at the road. And there are mistakes, Bumpy says, that change your life. Evelyn looks through the window, sees Leon, the uniform, the drain, the bowed head. She understands. Not every detail. Enough. The Cadillac continues. Leon becomes smaller in the mirror. Evelyn asks, for how long? Bumpy drives. Long enough to remember. She looks at him. Did you hurt him? Bumpy says nothing for several seconds. Then, no. A pause. I gave his mistake somewhere to live. The city continues around them, loud, busy, unaware. Evelyn touches the fading bruise, then lowers her hand. Bumpy checks the dashboard clock. 9:24. Everything is moving again. Not repaired, not forgotten. Aligned. Time isn't numbers, it's alignment. And some people learn that lesson through a watch. Others learn it through 10 years of mornings.